time, my friend. Having such a trip through time. We roll up on a ship that flies, my friend. Roll up on a ship that flies. I'm having such a trip through time, my friend. Having such a trip through time. We roll up on a ship that flies, my friend. Roll up on a ship that.
Welcome to another episode of Trip Through Time. As time goes by, memories never die. Today, we set course for the Wintrust Arena in Chicago, Illinois. And of course, today's guest was in attendance. And as per usual, on the rail, repping hard, providing the fan with instant YouTube sets. It's with great pleasure. Do I even have to say who it is at this point? Tom Hammond, aka Hammy T. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's a huge pleasure. So obviously, a Northwest suburbanite of the Chicagoland area. It's definitely, pleasure having someone from the same area on. So you're from Lake Zurich, you said?
Yeah, I mean, technically Killdeer, but no one knows what that is,
Oh,
so I just say
I
Lake
know
Zurich.
Deer Park, Killdeer,
Yeah,
right by.
no one
Yeah,
knows what that is, but
yeah,
few people know what that is.
yeah.
But for the most
I
part,
used,
yeah.
I used to work all over the suburbs, so I
Okay.
kind of like know all that shit. So
Yeah, it's a tiny
I
little town in the middle of all the other towns, but yeah.
right on. And where you live in the city now?
Yeah, I've been in the city since college, so like 15 years, and I'm in Lakeview now.
Oh, dope. All right, cool. So yeah, run me through like your music taste leading up to getting into Pretty Lights. Like where were your interests and how did it get to,
Yeah, for sure.
your first show, which was in 2011,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
Lollapalooza 2011. I was part of the 2011 festival babies. Like, I feel like so many people in the scene that caught him at a festival in 2011 and then never did anything else. But I mean, yeah, I mean, my music background is pretty varied. Growing up, my dad was probably my biggest music influence, and he got me in. He was into a lot of like funk and soul, a lot of like Stevie Wonder, James Brown, a lot of stuff like that. And I played in the jazz band. I played trombone back in the day, so definitely vibed with a lot of stuff like that. And then uh, as I was, becoming a teenager and all of that, whatnot, definitely kind of everything, TRL was hot back then. So everyone watched TRL. I mean, Blink 182, Green Day were some of my first like album or CDs that I had. Like Enema of the State was one of the Dookie like classics. So got into like, what do you want to call it? Punk rock, pump
Pop
pop,
punk,
yeah,
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So started there, and then got into electronic music pretty early. Like I got into EDM before it was EDM, before like when it was techno, and like
Yeah.
when you like no one else was listening to it, I'd go to like the Barnes and Nobles and like go to the CD section and find like these Euro EDM mixes and lots of drum and bass and um, went through my Fast and the Furious era where we all drove our first cars around like we thought they were fast and would
Yeah.
listen to drum and bass music and blow out the speakers and all that fun stuff. Yeah, and then eventually, yeah, EDM just took over. I think Dead Mouse was probably the artist that like really got me into it. And so I got exposed to him and yeah, then it was just all the EDM I could swallow at that point. Everything, dubstep was huge. I mean, dubstep is kind of the reason I found Pretty Lights in a weird way. So I'm very happy for that. I don't really listen to it as much anymore, but yeah, we were. Yeah, it was 2011, so I graduated college that year, and so as like a graduation present, I got a 4-day pass to Lollapalooza from my parents, and so
Oh, nice.
that was sick. And yeah, and Dead Mouse was headlining that year, so I was so hyped for it. Um, so I forget which day it was. It was like Friday or Saturday, and that was when Pretty Lights was headlining. And so that was the year that Skrillex blew up, and he was playing a 2 p.m. set on the Perry stage at Lollapalooza
Wow.
because he blew because like when they booked him, he wasn't that big. By the time he was playing it, he could have been headlining. And so everyone got there at like 1 p.m. to rage for Skrillex. And we did. And we raged hard and it was awesome. And then by, 8, 9 p.m., we were done. Like we
Oh, I
had
bet.
no energy left. So we're literally just like laying on the grass in the back of the field by Perry's, and Pretty Lights starts playing, and we're like, what is this? Like I've
Yeah.
never heard anything like this before. And I had actually heard one of his songs before a couple years before that, but I didn't really know I had, kind of thing. And anyways, before you know it, we went from laying in the grass to standing up to dancing to getting as close to the stage as we could and just raging until the music stopped. And we were just like, I don't know what the hell that was, but like we need more of that in our lives. And so that was the moment that me and my good friend, best friend Chris Wilhelmsen, who's also known as Toe for Toast, that's when we both found Pretty Lights, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's amazing because yeah, like you're right. Like Skrillex came out of fucking nowhere. I just remember like, the handful of songs. What was it like? Scary,
Oh, Scary
whatever.
Sprites, and
Yeah, and
yeah,
all that
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
And and like all these big names like Deadmau5, Skrillex, Pretty Lights, Bass Nectar, Avicii, they all kind of had their own sound.
yeah.
But this again, when I first heard Pretty Lights, like same thing. It's just like yeah, it was like unlike anything else I knew. And I didn't see him until 2012, but I had been listening to him for a while, but I was honestly, I knew what was going to happen, and all my friends were going to see him. And I'm like, I know if I go, I'm going to get hooked and addicted to it. And sure enough, when I went in 2012, I did.
What
But,
was your first
I
show
was
in
just
2012?
summer
Oh,
camp.
okay. I did not do summer camp, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that was amazing, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, okay, how many shows have you seen now?
So I mean, it depends on how you count shows, but anywhere
Yeah.
from like 81 to 84, I guess,
Uh-huh.
depending on how you count it.
So I see you sent me your list, and like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, so you count all those caverns ones, but like
Well, I was just
I
copying and pasting from
no,
prettynice.com,
I
if
mean,
I'm being
but hey,
honest.
no, but I mean, honestly, when I look at it like that, like a set to me is like, or like a show, for instance, like, there's multiple sets in a show, but like, for instance, the caverns, like they opened up
Yeah, the
and then all the
sunrise.
other
Yeah.
people played
Or
and then they
sunset.
played again. Yeah. A sunset set. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they did the hour thing and then they went into the cave.
Yeah.
So that's totally different too.
Oh, yeah, that was a whole different vibe. Yeah.
It's like at summer camp when I first went, I was such a noob that I didn't know that there was Red Barn,
Mm.
but like had you gone to the Red Barn, that's another show.
Yeah, it
But
really it's all. And I mean, do you count like the Las Vegas secret set in the parking lot next to the
those I don't.
yeah, I
I
mean,
don't.
so it's all, it's all like
Yeah,
relative, but I'm in the
because that's
80s now officially, which is
yeah.
cool.
That's I mean that's props. Um, but yeah, it's just to touch quickly. I seen a secret set in New Orleans, and then that was a Joy Theater night. And I ahead of it, I'm thinking like I'm gonna get 3 shows in one night, and I only counted one
Yeah,
because
yeah, that's
it's not to me.
yeah.
It's all well and good, but that's not Pretty Lights. It's not Pretty Lights. It's just like it's like if you were to see a I don't know, like a side project of some sorts.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah, I think a side
if you were to
project is a
see
fair way to
Postal
put it.
Service and then Death Cab for Cutie, like
Right,
it's
yeah, yeah,
two.
yeah. I think that's fair. I mean, it's kind of like a studio session almost, like where they're just,
Yeah,
messing around.
exactly.
It's not like a rehearsed planned thing. Not that Pretty Light shows are rehearsed,
Yeah,
but you know what
but
I mean?
like the productions like
Yeah.
into it rather more than just like it's almost like I guess seeing a rapper freestyle on the street versus like doing I don't know, but whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, fun. Let's just quickly while we're on the topic, I just wanted to run this. This was like really interesting because you just shared this with me today, and this is just like really funny. I mean, obviously we grew up in the same area, but so Tom sent me his list, and then so he had Lollapalooza as he touched on. So then his next one for let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The next 16 shows you saw, I was at as well.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that goes down at ISU. That was my third. And then Red Rocks 13, the 3-night run in Chicago, Spring Awakening in Chicago, Red Rocks 14, 2-night run, the Sea of Dreams. Only time I've ever ridden the rail.
Oh, damn. I was a
yeah.
bleacher creature for that one. So
Damn.
yeah.
I got VIP because I went with this girl I was dating at the time. It was just the two of us. So I was just like, fuck it. But it was weird because the VIP was like in the right. It was like where Bloom and Flint.
Yeah, like offset to the
Off to the
side. Yeah,
side. So I
yeah.
just kind of felt disconnect, and we were like pinched in this corner.
I know what you're
So
talking
I was
about.
just
Yeah.
like, yeah, and I was just like, well, I can't. I paid for this,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it was cool. But yeah, either way, So and then Euphoria in Texas, and then Telluride the first year in 15, and then this is amazing. This is the last two, but Nashville. So that weekend of Halloween weekend, he did Swanee Halloween, Nashville, which Ascend Amphitheater, really sick venue.
Sick.
I fucking dude, that
That
is like
was
one
one of
of
my
my
favorite
favorite.
nights
Yeah,
of
dude,
time. I mean,
so dope.
there's so many good nights, but I had such a good time. I made lifelong friends that night with other family like that I'm
Oh hell
still
yeah,
like super close with.
yeah,
That was a great night. That whole weekend was sick. We didn't do Halloween on Friday, but we did
yeah,
the Saturday, Sunday. We did
yeah.
Freaky Deaky Friday and then Pretty
Oh,
Lights
okay.
Saturday and then Freaky
Oh
Deaky
shit.
Sunday because we had 3 day passes to Freaky Deaky.
Oh, okay. Oh damn.
Um,
I might have
so
actually had it too, but I might have not just.
yeah, the Friday was like base nectar. So in
Yeah, yeah,
hindsight,
yeah,
oops. But
yeah.
at the time,
Yeah, you're young. You're trying to get it
it's all
all
right.
in. Shit.
I've been a known base nectar hater my entire career here, so
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
aware of that. But yeah, that weekend was so much fun. I mean, the 16-hour drive back and forth, wasn't super fun, but man, we had a great time. We didn't even have like a hotel room, or did we have? No, we had a hotel room. We just were like packed, like a bunch of us, like people sleeping on the floor. Like it was good times back then. I think. But one thing I wanted to talk about. So you were at that Bloomington show.
Yeah. It was
So
my third.
I feel like not a lot of people were at that show, like that are still in prevalent in the community.
Yeah.
And that was one of the craziest shows I ever went to because I don't know if you remember the layout, but it was like there were floor tickets or there were
Yeah.
balcony tickets. And I
Or the
guess
bowl. It was
the
like a
bowl,
minor
yeah,
league,
yeah, it was
like
yeah, like
hockey.
an arena,
Fucking
like a small arena.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
So like I guess a week or a month or two before Base Nectar, I guess he's just coming up right now, but he had been there and
yeah.
it had gotten rowdy. Like the balcony people all were jumping down onto the floor because
Mhm.
it's like you could hurt yourself, but it's a makeable jump. And so
No, for sure.
people were doing that, and I guess like security got overwhelmed. So then when Pretty Lights came through, they were kind of like expecting the same thing to happen. And so we were down on the floor, and when I was in my younger Pretty Lights days, we were Shark Tank people. We were always by the Shark Tank, always in the
Mhm.
back, just kind of chilling. And so we're back by the Shark Tank, and people are jumping from the balcony down to the floor, trying to sneak in. And so the security guards are going crazy. They're like sprinting, full on spear tackling, taking them to the ground. And so we're like, what is going on? And we look over, and then before we know it, like Greg, Phil, like Greg Ellis, Laser Shark, Phil
Yeah.
Salvaggio, a couple of the other people in the crew are like pulling the security guards off of the fans. And so
Wow.
they were like, no, like you can't treat our fans like that. And there was a
Yeah.
literal, like, not a brawl, but like a scuffle that was all going on while the music was going on. I'm just standing back there like, this is crazy. But it was really cool to see, even back then. So that's what, 2012, like the crew defending the fans. Now, should you be hopping from the balcony to the floor? No. But
Probably
should you
not.
be getting beat up for it? Probably not.
Mhm.
So it was crazy, and I don't feel like I've talked about that with other people, and like no one else was at that show, and I'm like, yeah, it
Yeah.
happened, I swear.
Dude, you know what's crazy? I mean, yeah, because like, you know, just like that era, the now I feel like everyone's kind of chilled out on it. But when the EDM craze came out, it was like, a lot of these venues. Remember the Congress?
Oh my god, yeah.
Dude, like the security there was insane.
Oh, they were a Gestapo. It was like, or they were, well, they were corrupt. Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
for sure.
making money.
100%. 100%. They were
um,
trying to steal your shit and
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
yeah.
But Congress was fun and it was grimy fun. But man, I mean,
Oh, for
we
sure.
had
Yeah.
fights and it's like it was
Yeah.
rowdy. It was
Yeah.
rowdy.
Yeah. But, like, same thing kind of there. And I remember I went with some friends and everything, and we had both. And we were able to get down because of what you're saying. All these people were running down, that the people blocking us ran away. So we just walked on
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
And it was great. But yeah, like, and like another thing, I was in the restroom and there's just a cop like in there, and like, not like I didn't have anything, I wasn't doing anything wrong, but when you're just, you're young and you just see a cop and like you just kind of. I gave him a weird look, like my eyes open. He's like,
Yeah.
"What do you got?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nothing." He's like, "I got people telling me you're selling shit." And I'm like, "I don't have shit, dude." And then like I like pull up my pockets real quick. He's like, "Oh, just checking, my bad." But like,
Yeah.
it's like that was like, and so I was actually talking to Ethan about this, I believe, but like I saw summer camp and Counterpoint Music Festival was my second one down in Georgia. And then that one, and then I went to E-Force, and then so my fifth and sixth shows were Red Rocks 13. So that was my first like legitimate, pretty light show. Like because I felt like Bloomington wasn't a PL show because it wasn't. It was like the vibe was all these college kids raving. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
PL.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, the PL was kind of that back then, though.
No, I know,
In
but you know
ways,
what I
but I know
mean.
what
You
you
know
mean.
what
Yeah.
when you go to a PL show and
Yeah.
you're amongst the fam.
It was
Like
a
you know what I
different
mean?
vibe back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
People were there to rage. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just but yeah, back to what I was saying. So I also had drove down to Nashville for a day and then
Yeah.
drove back and immediately went to Freaky Deaky.
Yeah.
And, while we're on the topic, last time Give Your Love Away was played and we just fucking got
I
there.
know. I
My
know.
fucking God.
That was, I mean, we got Give Your Love Away. We got Take the Sun Away. Like, we got, like, he made that 8-hour drive there that day worth every penny, every moment.
I know.
Yeah, we got
And
rewarded.
Sip, who helps run this thing, he dropped us off. He didn't go. He drove to fucking Nashville and didn't come to. And I'm like, yo, why the fuck would you not do that?
Yeah, you were
dude?
there.
I mean,
Like all you had to do
I
was
know.
stand.
Come on.
Could have sat on the ground even. I mean, yeah, it was one of my favorite festival sets. Chicago has actually gotten some really good festival sets.
Dude,
Spring Awakening with the trio.
The trio was sick. Trio was sick, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved when Carnes. I mean, I think they only did Snowball, and then so what's funny is I went to Counterpoint that's 2014, the second one. So there was only two.
Yeah.
So I went to Counterpoint, and this is kind of another one
I
of
heard
my
good things about that Counterpoint. I wasn't there.
Which one?
The
12 or 14?
Actually, maybe
the 12. 12 was Skrillex, Bass Nectar, Pretty Like Avicii,
That's
Atmosphere, Michael Menor, Big Gigantic. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah,
it was insane.
yeah.
And then Tomorrow World bought the fucking location. So the next year they didn't have it, and then the following year they did it at this place, Kingston Downs or whatever. And that was like after the Analog Future first tour. This was like their first shebang of the summer, and they came out and hit it. They played like Bombay Bump, and like if you like that festival set on SoundCloud on the PL Live is really fucking sick. But I went back home and then drove down to Memphis and caught them at Beale Street Music Festival, and they had the trio, and then they did the trio like that was in May, and then since June I caught them at Spring Awakening, and then, of course we all went to Red Rocks for the symphony and stuff. But yeah, I mean, and then just quickly, the only other ones past that we did were Telluride 16. I only got to go to one night of the first Northern Ireland run, and then Nashville. That indoor venue was actually the Municipal Auditorium or something like that. That place was fucking tight too.
That whole run was sick, but night one was something else. One of my favorite Pretty Lights. My favorite probably of that iteration of the band, honestly. My wife, when we came out of that show, my wife is like, I got to call everybody. They need to be here tomorrow night. Like, that was the best music I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm calling everyone in Chicago right now. I'm telling them to come down for night 2 in Nashville, because I mean, and what was fun about that one too, was they had been touring all of, like, the last stop was outdoors. And so on night 1, they had the smoke machines turned up like they were outside, but they were inside. So I don't know if you remember how smoky it got in that building night 1. It's the smokiest like it's ever been. Like, the bathrooms were filled with smoke. It was so smoky. Like, and they turned it down for night 2, but it made the lights night 1. Like, I gave the canvas for Greg to just paint on, and it was sick. That was a great night. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great for me too, because I was dating this girl at the time, and I had to go. I couldn't. So, like I said, I only went to one night of that Chicago run. I was so fucking pissed, dude, because I had to go to some wedding with her, dude. And it was like a family member of hers that she didn't really, whatever. And I was trying to be like, I know. And I was trying to be like, let me go to the fucking show, or let me go to the wedding and then go to the show. Like, who cares?
Yeah, we can do both.
And she made, huh?
I said, you can do both. You can make
I
it
know.
work.
And then, so whatever, she wasn't having it. And then I'm like, I went outside. I'm like live. This is like right when they started live streaming. And I'm like watching it. And I get a call. Where the fuck are you? So So I'm like, I'm going to fucking Nashville. I don't give a fuck, and that's why I went down there. But and then then we were both at the Gorge, both at again Northern Island. That was the last time I caught him in Chicago until this last run, and then New Braunfels, and that was my last time
New
before.
Braunfels was another one that not a lot of people went to, I feel like, and is underrated. They played some fun stuff down there.
It was a great set, but the security was
Oh, the
fucking.
whole
I was
place was horrible. Like, I
dude.
don't like, I mean, Texas is a huge state. Austin's cool. New Braunfels was
Yeah,
awful. Like, the local police were horrible. The
brutal,
security was horrible. And like, and we're talking about like for like minor things. We're not talking about like, oh,
dude.
you had a bag of pills in your pocket. Like, they were
No,
mad
yeah,
about anything and everything. And Whataburger was a huge letdown, honestly. I don't know. People hyped it up for me, and I had never had it before. And I went down there and got like Whataburger at 2 a.m. And I was like, bro, this is not it. Like, Red Hot
yeah.
Ranch back in Chicago is better
Oh,
than
dude,
this.
in Westtown, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Well, they have a couple
no,
locations, but
no, in Bucktown.
well, there's one off of Ashland by me, like Ashland and Belmont. I think there is one over there. Yeah, there's a couple, but Red Hot Ranch is best cheap burger in Chicago.
Yeah, what a burger, what a bag of shit. How about that,
That's kind of how I felt, man. I was
dude?
disappointed. Culver's is still probably my number one overall. If we're
In
gonna
terms of
get
fast
into
food burgers,
fast food burgers, Culver's you just can't go
yeah,
wrong. It's quality every single time you go.
yeah, no, it's solid. And my family's got a lake house up in Wisconsin, so that's a staple stop.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone who
I
knows
will
me
say,
knows I'm a Culver's guy.
hell yeah, I will say, living out here, not like, don't get on me. I don't like In-N-Out. I like it for the price and the quality, but I hate that there's a line. It's kind of like
Mm.
Portillo's. It's like
Yeah, it's
everyone
overrated.
everyone hypes up Portillo's, and I'm like, dude, there's a million better Chicago places to go, and Portillo's, there's a fucking line up
Yeah,
here, and like,
right. And in Portillo's got worse when they sold. So yeah, they're not.
yeah,
It's not the same.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so like, I just remember these guys like looking for people smoking weed and shit, and they're like flashlights, like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah, yeah.
taking their jobs way too fucking seriously. So
Yeah. So when we were in Texas for New Braunfels, yeah, we connected with the crew, and then yeah, after the show was over, because yeah, after the show was over, Greg was just playing with the light rig, and so we got to stay like after the show ended,
oh no shit, oh, that's
and
dope.
um, yeah, he was just playing with the light rig. He just had Fish cranked, like a live show,
Mhm.
one of Fish's live shows just cranked, and was just doing the lights to the Fish set that he was
Oh, that's
listening
sick.
to. So it was kind of cool to just see him in his own element, having a good time outside of like what he does for Pretty Lights. It was a pretty
Mhm.
unique experience. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of some of that, like the reason we were hanging out after the show was because my buddy Will guy, who used to do like the live recordings back in the day
Mhm.
before we had the streams, he was recording New Braunfels. So like we kind of he got to put his stuff in the Shark Tank, and so we were
Oh,
kind of hanging out in there after the show. But that's kind of what ended up leading to the creation of my channel in a lot of ways, which is kind of cool.
oh, cool. All right. Well,
Yeah,
hey, perfect
yeah,
segue.
yeah.
Again, yeah. So I was looking at your page. It looks like, to my knowledge, I mean, unless I didn't look at it right, like your first uploads were Red Rocks 15, and then I noticed some of those tour stops. Like I think it was the 2016 run, like Sandpoint, Idaho, and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Which is that run? Did you go to this? No, you didn't. San Diego. That's the
I
last
did
time they
not.
played out here.
Yeah, I didn't do any of the California or like the West Coast run. I didn't make any of that.
Hmm. Yeah, Miguel, I talked to him in Tahoe, and he actually said that at Soma that uh, San Diego one was like one of his favorites or whatever.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, but yeah, so what was it? Was that when they started streaming that you kind of started doing it?
Yeah.
Because I
So
was 15 the first stream they put up.
I could be wrong, but I believe that 15 Red Rocks 15 was the debut of what is, the live streams as we know them. And like Smokey, who works on the crew there, was in charge of like putting that together for the first time for Red Rocks, if I recall correctly. Totally can feel free, family, to correct me I mean, they might have live streamed stuff previously, but that was like the conscious effort of, this is something we're going to build and then continue to do, was for that. And it just so happened, like I had mentioned, like my buddy Will guy was doing kind of the live streams, recording them live with his audio equipment. And since he was hanging out with us at the shows and he was a good friend with us, we were always like with him and like helping him get his stuff set up and get it in and out of the venue and fighting security guards, because you're not allowed to bring professional recording equipment into venues. So we had a lot of times dealing with security or getting Greg or someone from the crew to meet us at a gate to get it through or what have you. So I was kind of like involved in the recording of the shows back then, but just helping Will guy out. And then yeah, they announced that they were going to stream it and announced the tour and everything. And back then, limited in time and free time and limited in funds, like you are in your 20s, or however old I was. I had to choose, like, okay, do I do Red Rocks or do I do Telluride? And ultimately, I chose Telluride. Very glad I did. I've been to Red Rocks a lot, so whatever. And so I was like, all right, well, and a lot of my friends went, and I was mad jealous. So I'm like, if I'm sitting here watching this, like, I might as well, like, I don't know, record it or something. Like, we need, like, some, like, this needs to be saved, because at the time we didn't know, like, if they're gonna leave it up on YouTube or if they're gonna just live stream it, or like what their plan was long term.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just got to record this. I had no idea what I was doing. Downloaded
How were you recording it? Were you using
just like a screen ripper. Like, I forget what the
okay.
program was. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
similar to like what you can do with OBS Studio now, but I forget what the program was called. I honestly, probably some just freeware I found Googling around. And yeah, and so I was like, all right. And so I stayed at home, and while I was crying over the fact that I wasn't there, I was ripping it. And I posted it, and I did a horrible job ripping it. Like, I ripped it in like multiple
Yeah, I saw it was
pieces.
3
And
parts,
yeah, I
right?
don't know why I
Yeah.
did that. I think I was having issues with the computer or with the software or something. I can't remember what was going on. And
Maybe the file was too
file
big or
size, yeah.
something.
I mean,
Yeah.
hard drives were a lot smaller back then.
Yeah.
So who knows exactly what was causing it, but I had some technical difficulties, which led to it being in 3 pieces. And yeah, I just had no idea what I was doing. And I had no plan of, like, okay, this is going to be a YouTube channel. And I didn't really get many views, honestly. I don't know how many views are on those videos, but I mean, thousands, but not many.
Yeah.
But I was just something like, I was like, hey, I just want to record this to make sure we got this if
Yeah.
if we ever need to watch it again. And we had gotten in the habit with my friend group, since we had the recordings. Like, we were some, I mean, I don't mean this to sound like bragging, but we were some of the first people who would go to the show, go back to a hotel or an Airbnb, and listen to that set immediately after it, because we had Will Guy's live recordings, and that became our thing at all these shows. And so I just felt like, hey, why not have a recording of the video so we can do that with like, and put it on the TV. And so that's just like the first one I recorded. And then yeah, I just ripped whatever I wasn't able to go to. So like when they did the West Coast, I ripped a lot of those. Not all of them though. Like, I don't have the San Diego one, which I definitely regret
Yeah.
not having.
I know they did Santa Barbara too. They
Yeah.
did like
And like, they were leaving them up on YouTube for a little while, but then they would eventually like take them down or disappear. It was really weird. Like, I don't
they
know.
probably got copyright shit.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
YouTube's a bitch about that stuff, I feel like,
they're
unless
better
you're
now, but it's
yeah.
changed. I don't know exactly how it was back then. But yeah, so I didn't know back then. Like, I should have archived all of that stuff. So in hindsight, but yeah, so I had posted a couple more of those back in the day, from the 2016, 2017 era. Um, and so I have some of those up on my YouTube channel for sure. But again, it didn't really, I mean, I had views, but it didn't really pop off. I had, a couple hundred subscribers, maybe. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, it wasn't really, never really became a thing. No one like knew me as Hammy T or like whatever. That was not a thing. And then,
Yeah, because we all recognize names from Facebook and stuff like that. I definitely remembered seeing your name, amongst many others. And then, of like, just to your point, until post hiatus, I started seeing Hammy T. I'm like, oh, and then put the two and two together, seeing stuff online, like, oh shit. But again, I guess no one really even knew to like look at that stuff because back then, which I think the reason why most of us were so fucking got into this and so dedicated was because you couldn't watch that shit, and when you
Right.
missed it, you saw some Facebook videos
The
and you saw the
FOMO.
set list, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, man, I wish I was fucking there." You know what I
Yep.
mean?
No,
So
100%. It's the truth. The FOMO was real, and it was tough to swallow back in the. It's still tough, even with the live streams,
I know it
for
is
different
tough, but
reasons, I guess.
it
But
makes it a little
it
easier. I
is
mean,
easier to swallow. Yeah. Yeah.
and obviously it's a whole different experience. Like, but yeah, I mean, believe me, anytime I left, the only time I felt didn't have this feeling was after New Braunfels, just because I was kind of burnt out and like I
Mm.
just after leaving the way that fest was, I was kind of just like, I'm sorry, after that show was, I was just like, yeah, I'm good for a bit. But any other time, I was like, I can't fucking wait for the next
Yeah.
one. When the
No.
fuck am I
Totally.
going?
Yeah. I think. Yeah. It was. So yeah. I mean, I started posting the videos. Then like obviously the hiatus and COVID happened and all that. And then like what kind of got me even more into the concept, I think, of what eventually my channel would become, which was just getting everything I could, was um, we started watching the sets that I had on Zoom calls over COVID times, right? Because like
Oh,
we
that's
were all
cool.
stuck, at home, and
Yeah.
so me and like my crew of friends that were in Colorado and LA and Atlanta and other cities, we would all hop in a Zoom call on like a Friday or Saturday night and rewatch like Sandpoint or rewatch Nashville or whatever. And that was like what we did on Friday and Saturday nights for like a few months there while we were all locked down. So that like got me re-obsessed with like watching the live streams. And then yeah, once he came back from the hiatus, the same kind of thing happened as 2015 Red Rocks, where I had to choose between Mission and Dylan, because I didn't get tickets for either. So I was gonna have to figure out tickets and like they were like back to back, so getting time off work, blah blah blah. So I chose Dylan. Glad I did. No
Good
offense to
choice.
Mission. Yeah,
Good
no
choice.
offense
I
to
mean,
Mission, but
yeah, dude,
it's like first show
Dylan is.
back or Dylan Amphitheater. Dylan Amphitheater. Let's go. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I also feel like, and I mean, not obviously it would any Pretty Light show is amazing, but I mean, I definitely first show back. You think, I mean, not like it was bad by any means, but it can only get better,
I'm
right?
sure the vibes in the building, like I'm sure the
Well, yeah,
vibes,
that
like
actually, I didn't even think about
like
that.
30
Yeah,
seconds before they played that first note was
yeah, true.
probably like that place was
Yeah,
probably buzzing.
yeah, yeah.
But I was at home watching it and I was recording it. And so I was like, all right, like, I'm not there. Let's record it. Let's get, I'm
Wow,
getting all these up that I'm not at. And then Dylan was what, the second stop. So yeah, I went to Dylan, and that's in the meantime I connected with Chris Wilson, Vistafer, from Pretty Nice, that you guys have had on, who's honestly the shit. Like, dude is
dude,
awesome. Like,
he's the fucking man.
yeah,
He's awesome. Yeah.
and just wishing him the best and everything. He's just, yeah, he's an awesome dude. And so I was chatting with him, and he was like, oh well, I program my computer to like automatically start ripping it like when the stream goes live, and like it's
Yeah, no
just this
shit.
Python code and blah blah blah. And he was like trying to explain it to me to help me be able to record them while I wasn't there. And I was like, well, hey man, like I've got a work laptop and I don't know how to code. So like can, can you just rip them and like I'll take the file from you, kind of thing. And I think this was even before Pretty Nights existed. And
Mhm.
so, or maybe it existed but wasn't, he maybe hadn't launched it. I don't know where it was in its
Yeah, I
path,
know because
but
he said he'd been working on it for a minute,
yeah,
but
so yeah, so
building
it
the
might have
data.
been there, but either way, it wasn't like where we're at now. And so I was like, hey, yeah, man, like that's sick. So then we just had been collaborating since then, and he provides the files for me unless I'm at home. If I'm at home for a show, like or for Vegas, like I ripped Vegas because I
Mhm.
wasn't able to go to Vegas this year. But yeah, then we've been collaborating. So that's why when everyone's like, man, how do you get them up so fast? Like, well, I'm getting the help from other people. It's not a one
Okay.
man show.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate everything Chris has done for me, and for the channel and for the movement. Honestly, he's, I think, the
Yeah.
number one like provider of content and info and cool
Yeah.
stuff right now
I
in the
mean,
community.
He's the biggest story of this tour.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, because dude, I was always. I've said this before. Apologies to anyone but I saw 36 shows from 2012 to 2017, and I'm so obsessed that I had it in my head. I knew them all, and then when they came back, I had to kind of just look back. But I always had it then I had it written down, and then when he came out with that, I was like, dude, this is like my shit right here, because I love just I don't know, knowing like places and stuff like that, and like again, what I like to do with this podcast is just see what shows people are at, compare, and like talk about things as we have already done. So
Yeah.
that's why and that's where it took a turn. Having him on was like, okay, since then I've had every person I mean, aside, I met you in Chicago just quickly, but we're getting to know each other here. But since then, it's been getting people in the community who are like playing roles and giving back and all these things like that. So, and on top of that, he's really was, since we started, it was a nice, like mutual, like, he's sharing and helping us out. So yeah, I can't say enough about Chris. He's fucking a really fucking
Yeah, that was
awesome
really
dude.
cool. The like raffle thing you guys did to raise money for him and all that stuff, and he's already turning that into crazy fast download speeds and stuff. So,
dude.
yeah, dude's awesome. So yeah, I mean, the channels turned into a kind of a collaborative thing with him providing most of the files. And then, I've also gotten other help. Jay Lee on Discord helped me out with Forest because I was at Forest this year. And obviously difficult to upload a set from Forest. So I gave him access to the channel and he was able to upload for me while I was at Forest. So that was a really cool experience because, I went to the set at Forest, went to whatever headliner was at like 3 a.m. after that. And then like as I'm walking back into the tent, my whole like camp group goes, all right, Hammy, where's the set? Like we need to listen to the set. And they're giving me shit. And I literally, I look at my phone and I just got the notification that it went live on my channel. And I was like, connect to the Bluetooth speaker and I put it on. I didn't say a word. I just put it on.
Yeah, you
and
just played it cool.
And they were like, "Oh,
that's
you
amazing."
got it." I was like, "Yeah,
that's amazing. You can be like, I don't know if I can. Boom.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got
that's
help
great, dude.
from multiple people in the family, which is really cool. And yeah, man, it's been really cool. Like it's really blown up. I think like I'm at like 7,300 subscribers as of today, which is crazy. I think we just hit 2 million views on the channel in its lifetime, which is nuts. And honestly, I think like it's been such a cool experience this last 2 years, and especially this last year, of just how many people are so appreciative of me putting this stuff on YouTube. And the love that I've gotten from people, whether it's just hugs or stickers or whatever, like people are just so nice in this group of people. And it's almost like I almost get awkward around it because I get like that imposter syndrome. Like I don't deserve this love. Like I'm just putting stuff on YouTube so I can watch it myself. Like whatever. But yeah, it's like the love from this family is so cool and so real. So I really appreciate everybody that's made a point to like come say hi at a show or anything like that. It's really made the tour something even more special than it's ever been, I think. For me, at least.
And I don't know if you feel this way. I think maybe we've all matured, but I feel like everyone. I don't know. Maybe I don't like pay attention too much, but I feel like when we were all on Facebook back then, I feel like there's a lot of like bickering and stuff like that. I feel like it doesn't happen anymore.
I mean,
right?
No, well, it happened. I saw a little of it today in the family, but I mean, like,
I guess I'm not on Facebook like I used to be. So
it's definitely not as much. Like, look, dude, I used to be a jerk on Facebook. Like, I've grown up so much in the 14 years that I've been following Pretty Lights Around or whatever it is. If I think back to some of the cringe stuff I said back in the day, like I was definitely
we've all done cringe. I mean,
I was definitely a troll, an unnecessary troll at times, and I still do a little bit of it. I'll never lose that smart assness in me, but there's still people.
You have a little more of a sarcastic undertone, probably.
Yeah, well, I always thought I did, but but
well, dude, you know what? Let me just say, I said so. I did this thing, and you responded. I deserved it though. Pretty Lights had that tour in India. All right.
Oh
And I
yeah.
put this stupid fucking thing up. I thought I was funny. And it was like this stupid ass show that was on like NBC or some stupid ass thing. It was called fucking Outsourced.
Oh
And I
yeah,
put,
that show. I was.
you remember?
I do
Okay, but I
remember
put
that show. You could not get away with that anymore.
no, I know. And I mean, yeah, I'm an idiot, but I put it up thinking it was funny. And like, I put the guy in it who's an Indian guy, and they say, and you know, I spelled what with a V, and I'm like, what's a pretty light? And then you're like, dude, this is racist and
Oh
shit. And
yeah.
I'm just like, and you're like, and first up, I'm like, I said, oh, it's from the show. You're like, who fucking watched that? Yeah, no one. And I'm like, you're
I
right. It
did
got
watch it. I
canceled.
did watch an episode of that show, and I was like, "This," because when it came out, I was like, "Oh," this,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yeah, this is bad." It was
Yeah,
rough.
no, and it got canceled, but I just,
Yeah,
yeah. So it,
we're all yeah. I mean, it's easy to hate when you're typing on a keyboard for sure.
also I was young and I was just like, you know, I mean, I feel like everyone kind of goes through it too. You know, you see it these days, which hey, we love all people getting into it, but when you're new, you're like, oh, I
Mm,
want to post a million things and
yeah,
like do
yeah.
all this stuff, and then you kind of like settle down and chill out, and then like you know if you're gonna whatever,
Yeah, I
but
think the
yeah,
biggest thing I learned over my years is sometimes you just don't say anything. Like, yeah,
yeah,
there's so many things I've typed out nowadays, and I just delete and don't comment,
yeah, hmm,
because it's just not worth it. Um, but um, but I do like seeing some of the young people or the newer fans' enthusiasm, and then
yeah,
yeah, people check them a little bit. There, the one I was thinking about today was like someone posted again about the Grizz Pretty Lights collab that isn't a Pretty Lights collab; it's just a Grizz track, and so that I feel like that would like people always posted about that years ago. So the fact that that was like, oh man, we're back in that off tour content. Like people are just
yeah,
bringing up stuff that's not real. But
yeah. And you know what I don't miss, and what I mean, I'm happy overall for Derek, but just I got really sick and tired of just all the underlying rumors of what
yeah,
his health and all that stuff. And it's just like at the end of the day, it's like, dude, just the dude's a guy. He's a person, and you know, just I don't know. It's none of no one really fucking knows, and even like I don't know. So
well,
it's
we're
just
all
like
people,
exactly. And I mean, hey,
we
man,
have a yeah,
I have my
exactly.
own issues, you know. So it's like,
Oh no, none of us are saints, and I think
yeah,
like people feel entitled, to not have to maybe deal with those downsides because of they bought a ticket and they put their money in or whatever.
exactly.
But honestly, some of like the shows that were arguably the worst shows that I've been to still really are important in what has become my Pretty Lights fandom. So,
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I think like you have to take the bad with the good, and I'm just so happy that Derek seems to be in as good a place as he is right now. Like the vibes from night two, which we'll get into later, like so much positivity just
Yeah,
radiating out of that set. If I compare that to like Euphoria 2014 or whatever that was, and how
yeah,
negative that set was because he was going through stuff with females in his life and all that
yeah.
stuff. Like,
That set was dark as
oh,
fuck.
that we walked away from
And he
that
was
set.
solo.
We walked away from that set and just looked at each other and we were like, what just happened? And then we went back, we jotted the set list down and just looked
Hmm.
at the name of every song. And we were like, dude's going through it right now.
Yeah,
And that was a fun weekend, but that was a sad Pretty Light set. Sad in a lot of ways. But I'm glad we've come back
yeah.
from where we were there. But I mean, that was a fun weekend. I won like I somehow that was the only thing free tickets I've ever won to anything. I won 2 free
Oh
tickets to
wow.
Euphoria, and we went last minute, and I'm glad we did. We had a blast, made some good friends down there. But yeah, it was a sad set.
I was also just like not I was being a brat, and like I was because it wasn't a band or anything, and I was just like, man, I don't want um I don't know. I just felt like we were taking a step back to I don't know.
Mm,
I was just like, man, he needs to bring the band back. Why is he not
yeah,
doing that? But I mean, I don't know. Who knows what, you know, obviously all those other musicians have other things
right.
going on.
Yeah,
But
and I don't think Derek's the best planner or scheduler, but
yeah, and I mean, you know, it I don't know. It's probably tough to it's a big I mean, aside from the band, the lighting, you know, the light for the production, I mean, you know, the touring managers,
oh
everything. It's
yeah,
just a lot of moving pieces, and
yeah.
you know, I don't know. Who knows? They probably all signed contracts, and I remember seeing Adam Deitch like he was on tour for Analog Future. I saw Lettuce played in like Japan or some shit like that, and he was like so bummed, and he was like, "Oh, I made these commitments, like I can't be there." And I kind of just the writing was on the wall, like this isn't gonna last forever with Deitch there.
Yeah, I miss Deitch, but
Me
I mean,
too.
I love
Yeah.
Alvin, but I miss Deitch.
So obviously you've been to a lot of venues, and just what are your favorite festivals and favorite venues? And then to spin off that, any least favorites?
Yeah. Well,
Because I mean, real quick, like you said, we kind of came up in that festival time, and like I
yeah.
was saying, some of my first times were festivals, and being young back then, I was before I really got into Pretty Lights. I always loved Pretty Lights; it was always my favorite. But I did love like the festival scene and
Mm,
everything. And I like there was one summer I hit like 7.
yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's just like I feel like we all kind of came up in that, and then we all realized we love Pretty Lights and just love going to Pretty Lights shows. But
Yeah.
just
I mean, yeah. No, it's a good question. I mean, favorite festival is, I mean, it's got to be Electric Forest for me. Um, but I've also not done a lot of the like competitors to what that is, right? So I haven't done Halloween. I haven't done Bon.
Halloween,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I haven't done.
that's my favorite.
I've only heard great things.
It's amazing.
I mean,
It's like adult E Forest.
yeah. I mean, Lollapalooza is cool, but like it's a lot of people and it's a very, it's just one of those big festivals, like corporate festivals. So
Yeah.
I like that it's in Chicago, and I still go for, like, I'll still do a single day at Lollapalooza if an artist that I like is there, like I did Kendrick recently and stuff like that. Um but yeah, I mean, Forest has got to be my number one. I mean, I really liked Euphoria as a festival. It was kind of felt like what Rothbury maybe felt like, or like not in terms of the art, but in terms of like being a smaller, newer festival on like
Mhm.
an intimate grounds. And we got really, like I said, we won the tickets, but then I mean, we got the craziest thing where we found an Airbnb that was an Airstream, one of those trailers, and it was on the property that was hosting the
Oh no
festival,
shit.
and it was
That's
literally
awesome.
owned by the lady who owned the fest, or like owned the grounds that was hosting the festival. And so we rented it, and so it was permanent. It's a permanently there trailer, but it was where they put all the RV parking. So we flew down from Chicago, rented a car, drove in, and had an RV essentially waiting for us at the
Wow, that's awesome.
festival, which was really
That's
cool.
perfect.
And everyone in the RV camping area down in Texas was crazy. Like the dudes next to us were all all oil men. So like they had mad money and had been on the oil fields, all summer or whatever, like all spring. So they just
So they were ready to
partied.
go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like one of them didn't sleep the entire festival.
Oh jeez.
Like he never
Yeah.
slept the entire festival. And by like the last day, he was on one, man. Like it was something.
Wow.
But yeah, it was fun. I really liked it. That was, and like they had that one stage that was right by the river that was really cool. It was like the Dragonfly stage or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember
Yeah.
that, but that was really cool. I think like G Jones played there, and it
I feel
was
like
pretty dope.
Marveliers played
Maybe,
there.
yeah. They had some good acts there. I really like that setup. But yeah, I mean, Forest is probably my favorite festival. Least favorite festival, I don't know. I mean, it's probably Lollapalooza just because sometimes it sucks.
I've had
But
tickets multiple times and I sold them every time just because I was like, it's
it kind of
just I
sucks.
never really cared for the lineups, and I was like, I could just make money on it, and I was obviously going to other Pretty Light shows. I'm like,
Yeah.
take some
It's
money
one of
with
those
me.
things where it's like not my favorite festival, but if I didn't go to Lollapalooza 2011, I would have never been where I'm at right now.
Exactly.
So like I'm so glad that I did. So I think that's what's cool about festivals, is even if it's not the best festival, even if it's not the best lineup, they can change your life one way or another, which is cool.
And it's still fun. I mean, imagine you're just, it's like going and get some drinks and hang out, and there's music. Or you
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to be like at the front, and
No.
those are times where you can like feel okay about talking during shows. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're just in the background, like having fun, whatever,
Well, in
and
that
fucking.
forest, you don't even have to leave the forest to see a show. You can literally just be playing in the forest the whole day with all the art that's in there and in a hammock or whatever. So it's a cool vibe. So yeah, that's festival wise. I mean, venue wise.
Real quick, I
Oh
will
yeah.
say, I went to only one Forest 2013, fourth time seeing pre-lights. 10 days later, I go to Camp Bisco. Grimy,
Oh, I've
disgusting,
only, yeah,
worst
yeah.
fucking. I go
That's in
from
like
Forest.
Pennsylvania or something, right?
No, it was in upstate New York, like
Upstate New
kind of
York.
by
Okay.
Albany for a
Okay.
minute, and then
Okay.
it switched to like Scranton at
Or
that
okay. Okay.
fucking.
Okay.
But ran by the Hell's Angels or whatever, and like we two buddies, we drive 13 hours, come to a dead halt. We're in 7 hours of just stop and go because there was so much rain that they were only like letting in like 2 lanes at a time. We get in there, porta potties are overflowing, dude. No toilet paper, just disgusting.
Mm.
Like this place was it's just the grimiest, grossest shit ever. And tons of just tons of like kind of like what you're saying, the Bloomington shit, like security, like on that type stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah.
luckily I never had like a festival experience quite like that, or like Mudson, like that one that like mud like
Oh,
turned into a mud pit. Like I've never had to deal with it get that bad. I mean, this forest this year we spent
I was just gonna
a
say,
day
how
and a
did what?
half in the rain, which was awful. But I mean, like it was, yeah, we just sat in the tent and drank and
Thankfully,
listened to
you got
music.
pretty lights though.
Yeah,
Thankfully, you got.
if Pretty Lights got hit, we would have been pissed. So yeah, so we got very lucky with the weather, all things considered. But yeah, I won't be doing any camping festivals this year.
All right, well then, yeah, go to venues then.
Yeah, I mean venues.
I mean, obviously, we know Red
Yeah,
Rocks.
Red Rocks is dope. You know, controversial opinion, I was not in love with the Gorge as much as I thought I was going to be. The smoke definitely hurt
Yeah, I
that, but
heard.
also just like they didn't turn on all the speakers, so like I don't know, it just wasn't. I had built it up in my head and then was ended up leaving kind of slightly disappointed from the Gorge. So that's a hot take potentially, but um, I'd say like indoor venue wise, Salt Shed and the Eastern are probably my favorites that I've gone to recently. The Eastern was sick in Atlanta. Like I would go to that
That's new.
venue for, yeah, it's
That's
pretty
new too,
new.
right?
Yeah, it's pretty new. I would go to that venue for anyone that I remotely even cared about if I lived down in Atlanta. That venue is sick. Um,
Is it in Atlanta or is it like a little outside or just
no,
in
it's in
town?
Atlanta. It's not like downtown, but it's in the city of proper, I
Gotcha.
believe. I mean, I'm not an Atlanta expert, but I mean, Eastern and Salt Shed are probably my like favorite indoor venues. Least favorite indoor venue, is it indoors? I guess not. I don't know. Brooklyn Mirage is just up there on my least favorite venues.
Really? Why? Is it just over packed and shit and just?
Yeah, well, the screen is really cool, like super cool. Um, but yeah, I had so like I guess this is a good story, but like, yeah, night one Brooklyn. So like I said earlier, I've always been
Oh,
like
they got
shark.
canceled, right? Because of the
Well, yeah, because
fucking.
the rain. That
Yeah.
was a whole
Yeah.
dude. It took me. What was it? We left my apartment at 7 a.m. in Chicago. I got to our Airbnb in Brooklyn at 3 a.m. the next day.
Did you fly?
Yeah, we flew. We so
Oh, you just
we
couldn't get there.
we were on the plane at 9 a.m. and then they shut down the LaGuardia, and so we
Oh,
never took off. That flight got canceled. Got onto another flight that got canceled. Got onto another flight that got canceled. Got onto another flight that got canceled. And then luckily
and you
like
got on the plane every time, and then you had to get off.
no, but like got rebooked. Yeah,
Oh
we only
yeah,
got
okay, okay.
on one plane and then had to get off of that. But then we were just in O'Hare all day,
Yes.
and then we
Spending tons of money on fucking
oh
food
yeah,
and
well
shit.
yeah, I mean, and then we eventually got a flight to Newark, which is in New Jersey, not in New York. So then we got there, landed in Newark at like 1 a.m. and then or 2 a.m. and then had an hour or something Uber ride from the airport to our Brooklyn Airbnb. Luckily, everyone else who had gotten there before us was we got there at 3 a.m. and they're already like got the bottle of tequila going, and we had a warm reception when we got there. But man, that was the longest travel day I think I've ever had. And luckily, we didn't miss the show though because the show got postponed. But anyway, so then that first night was like a perfect storm, right? It was a Saturday now, so it was a night one Saturday, which never happens, and so it was packed. They oversell that place, so we got in early with our VIP, didn't like stand out in line for super long, but we were out, in the line. We got in early and we didn't do rail back then. So I only did Shark Tank. And so because of my wife. And so we went to the Shark Tank, got our space right there locked down, but then it fills in, and then by the time the music starts the first set, it was so packed So like I'm the biggest guy in my group of friends. So I'm always the one that is playing defense in the crowd, whether it's, like just but the guy being on the edge, kind of establishing our group and like, dealing with the riffraff as it were. And so um we were just getting squished and we were getting crushed. And so like there was one point where I was getting crushed from dudes on all sides that I was getting lifted up off my feet. Like I was becoming weightless in the crowd. Like that's
Oh
how
my God. That's
mashed
so
in we were.
scary, dude. That's
Yeah,
scary as
so
fuck.
I was
If
having
you get
like
up
a
to three, you're
minor
fucked.
yeah, I was like
Yeah.
having like a minor panic attack while also trying to look out for like all my groups. So if you said what songs were played in the first set of night 1 Brooklyn, I would have no idea. And so then we almost get crushed. Then we're like, at the end of the set, we're like, we're out of here. We dip out, go up to the balcony. Balcony there is like, if you're on the rail balcony, it's amazing. If you're one person behind on the rail balcony, it's horrible. So, you couldn't see anything, but we at least could breathe and hear the music and whatever. And then we talked to some people, some of our friends, and they were like, we were up front by the rail and there was plenty of space. And we're like, how was it? We almost died. Like that was the worst show I've ever been to. And I've been to a lot of shows and worst experience of a show ever. And so then the night 2, we went to the rail and there was tons of space. And we've been on rail every single show since.
Wow,
Yeah.
dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like so many of these stories that you told are just by mistake or
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. It just happens that way.
Because I
And
was gonna ask you, like, were you always a rail rider or anything
yeah,
like
no,
that?
back in the day, not at all. Always in the back by the Shark Tank or first row of the bleachers, first row of the balcony, like that kind of thing. Wanted to take in all of the lights, but also like, just felt like I just don't like being in the biggest part of the crowd, which I felt like being on rail is being in the big front.
Yeah.
And it's not at Pretty Light shows. It's the rail is a great place. But it can be a lot still. It can, you're still dealing with people. And so it can be a lot.
So, yeah. All right, real quick, just to run it back to the analog future. If you could have 3 unreleased songs of that era thrown back into the current rotation, what would they be? Because
Yeah.
I love a lot of those.
Number one for me, and I've been requesting it since the return, is Stepping Out. I guess, is that Pretty Lights Live? I guess that's Pretty Lights Live and not Analog Future. I don't know. Actually,
Well,
that might.
no, I mean that's technically that was like one of the tapes or the USBs,
Yeah,
right?
so maybe that doesn't count. Maybe not. Analog Future, no. That one is, so that one I've been asking for. That one a lot of people have been asking for, but that's not
Well,
Analog
hey, while
Future.
we're on the topic, if
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
anything else,
No,
that has it
totally.
isn't really in, go for it.
Yeah, Stepping Out though is my number one in search of right now. Especially after getting Give Your Love Away. I mean Athena, Radio Swords, I mean Dionysus, but we have gotten it, but
Hmm.
I'll take it again. But probably Athena and Radio Swords would probably be like the top 2 from like the Analog Future days that I would love to see get rinsed, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I love Athena, Witness Break.
Oh, Witness! How could I forget about Witness? That's a good
Yeah,
one.
that
Yeah,
one's
yeah, yeah. That
and then
underrated.
Majestic Break. That
Yeah,
shit hits too,
yeah.
or Red Rocks 14.
Yeah. There's some good stuff from back then. Tough,
Real
like
good.
without the horns. Like, I mean, they can play the recorded
Well,
horns, but
yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah,
could sample it. Or
yeah.
dude, it's funny. Me and my buddy in Vegas were like, having some predictions, and in our mind, they're gonna come like the horns are gonna be there the whole time, and
Mm,
like obviously they didn't come out to the second set, but like we're in our head thinking like Pretty Lights of Old, like we're idiots, but like I'm like they're gonna come out, Color My Soul opener, and just like I don't know
mm,
why I was so stuck on it, but like I'm like in my head thinking like taking myself back to how it was back then, and yeah, I was wanting all that shit, and I have been requesting some of that stuff, but that's I don't know. It'd be tough, but I will say a lot of my chasers have been knocked off this year. So aside from that, for me, one of my favorites from the Gorge is "Don't Take My Sunshine." They haven't played it
mm.
since last tour. I think they played it twice. Dylan being one,
Yeah, I
and I
definitely
think
played
they
in
put it in
Dylan.
Philly. But
Okay.
yeah, I love that song, and that'll be the one I'm hammering next year for sure,
That's
or
a good
this
one.
next tour.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Aside from the music and the community, like what else do you love about being a fan?
Besides the music and the community, I mean, those are the two big ones. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's it. I don't know. That's a tough question. I feel like, um, well, obviously I'm in it for like the being at the live shows, like the live, like it's not just the music, like it's the whole
Yeah, yeah,
production. They have like what 50 people probably working on that show and in its shows. Like, so the quality is there. Um, but yeah, I mean, really, the thing that fuels me the most when it comes to pre-lights is the community, in
yeah,
that like it's a family. And I know we call ourselves a pre-lights family, we call ourselves pet fam and all that cliche, but like legitimately, like when I go to these stops, I'm seeing friends from years ago or friends that live in
yeah.
different states, and like so like every single stop's a family reunion. And um and just being able to meet all these different people and make friends and make memories with them is so sick. So I think, yeah, I mean, beyond that, I mean, the art that's involved in the project. So like all the posters, the merch, the videos that they put out, right? Like the stuff they've been doing on Instagram and stuff like that is all just sick. I love consuming all the content that comes out of it, whether it's actually being done by the band themselves or adjacent because Megan is curating the artists for the posters or whatever. It's sick. With like the whole movement, the collective has really shown off the last since the return.
And I mean, like, so what you're saying, the Pretty Lights family. I mean, specifically for people like you guys who run deep. Like, I feel that for you guys, especially, like, like, especially getting to know people like Ethan and a lot of you guys go way fucking back, and there's all these stories and stuff like that. And I just I didn't I guess I was just much more shy when I was younger. I wasn't really like putting myself out and like trying to meet people as much as more as I was just like stuck with my own crew and everything. And that's what I love about what this project is kind of turning into. But for me, like I kind of asked Lance the same thing, but I just said besides the music, he said the community. But like for if I were to not, if I were not to say the community, which I obviously love too, it's just all the places that Pretty Lights has brought me to
Mm,
like traveling. It's
yeah.
just travel going all around because I get, would I have gone to all these various locations if it weren't for the music? And it's nice that seeing the music is also paired with going to 6 cities and
Yeah, he
beautiful
just likes to go
places.
to dope ass places and play
Yeah.
dope ass venues, and I love that. I mean, I think like a lot of people were complaining, not complaining, but like I think a lot of people wanted some repeats in terms of stops for this year. And so I think the fact that he didn't do really any repeats besides Red Rocks, obviously,
Well, I
or
mean, not from last
no,
year,
no, he
but
didn't
I
do it.
mean,
Yeah, I guess Denver, I guess technically, right? So
but yeah,
besides, no repeated
no
venues.
venue.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And I
So
like that.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
I
I
did
like
too. I mean,
that.
don't get me wrong, I wanted another salt shed. I wanted another salt shed bad.
And I said I'm going because I got married last year, so I could only go to Warfield, but I had mad FOMO, and I've only heard amazing things about the Salt Shed. So yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely want to see that venue for sure.
yeah. So I would definitely wanted that, and then we also thought New Year's was going to be salt shed, and then it ended up being Wind Trust, which is totally fine. But yeah. So I really like that. Like, I think, yeah, it's a great. No, that's a great point. Like, there's so many things that I wouldn't have done if it wasn't for Pretty Lights in terms of travel and venues. And like, I mean, think about like, dude, Sea of Dreams. I would have never gone to San Francisco to go to Sea of
I
Dreams
know.
for New Year's, if it wasn't for Pretty Lights. And we had a blast. San Fran treated us so well. And that venue is cool. I don't know, like, little Easter egg about my channel is, my profile picture. I don't know if you recognize it, but that's, Sea of Dreams is my profile picture on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've never really even like
yeah,
taken a
looked
deep
at
look
it.
for
Yeah,
real.
but it's a picture that I took on my camera phone at the time of they had like the art that was left over from like Burning Man, like kind of set up, and like there were all those cool balloons and like certain things and like floating in the sky. And so yeah,
Oh shit,
there
you're
was
right. Yeah.
it was just like the smoke had hit perfect, and Laser Shark was just doing this like that horizontal laser that kind of makes it look like there's this like rainbow road, and I just was like, oh, this is sick. Snap the picture and
Wow.
made it my YouTube profile picture, and it's been like that ever since.
Yeah, that was my first time in California, and I was again dating this girl, and it was just me and her. Like I said, I got the VIP and everything, but like it was cool, but it was a big learning experience for me. I mean,
Mm,
I bought a rental car that I hardly used because I was in the
yeah,
middle of downtown
San
San
Fran. Yeah.
Francisco. I fucking stayed at this hostel. We paid $400 for this car and like I got sold on the upgrade like an idiot. They're just like, I'm young. Like, you want this car? I'm like, I thinking it was just no extra cost. Then I fucking parked my car at a fucking at the Fisherman's Wharf and took a um, ferry across the Sausalito, and then the next one was canceled. So we had to like take the bus across the bridge. I'm paying per hour, and whatever. Finally get back, and the 12-minute drive normally took like an hour, and it was
Mm,
like as the traffic would just start moving and then the light would turn yellow, and then on top of it fucking we walked back and just started to realize some of the sketchiness of San Francisco. I mean, I love that city, but it was just my first time thrown out there, and then on top of it, when we first got out there, I was needing a ride to the rental car. I don't know why I didn't take the shuttle. So got in a cab, and I told this guy where I was going. He drives like 20 minutes out of the way. I'm like, this is not where we were. The cab ride was like $60. And I'm like, dude, I didn't tell you that. I'm like, I gave him 20. I'm like, that's me being generous. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
told you
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it's trying to rip you
But
off.
in all, I've come to love that city. And my third time there was
Yeah.
for
Well, that's part of the fun of the
Warfield.
travels is those
I mean,
experiences,
yeah, that
good
you
or
learn.
bad.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you learn stuff.
No,
I
trust
mean,
me, we got a hotel like in the Tenderloin because I was like right by where the venue was. And yeah, walking through there at 2 a.m. on New Year's Eve or whatever, like there were people
yeah,
just doing needles and all sorts of stuff like
yeah.
right there on the
It's
street. And
the Wild West up there,
yeah, it
dude.
was, and that was 2015 or whatever it was, 2014
2014 going
into
into
15.
15,
Yeah,
yeah.
so like that was a decade ago, so imagine what it's like
Yeah.
nowadays. Um
Yeah.
but I had a lot of fun. I mean, we ran into some the people the people staying in the hotel room next to us were like these weed growers, and they gave me like a half ounce of just really really good weed for free, just because like they're like, he's like, I don't smoke it, I just grow it, here, have some. And I was like, all right, cool. And yeah, we ended up like giving a bunch of it. We didn't even smoke because it was like 2 days, so we didn't even smoke all. We ended up giving a bunch to like the people at the hotel, and so like people who were working at the hotel. Because yeah, I didn't fly with anything back in the day, but
Yeah, yeah.
I still don't really fly with flour. Um, but yeah, it was, so San Fran was awesome. I loved Sea of Dreams. Flying Lotus was crazy after Pretty Lights. That was nuts. Yeah.
So fucking Jam Cruise right after that. How did
You
you
did Jam
feel at the
Cruise?
No, my
Oh, okay,
buddy
okay.
did.
I didn't do.
But
Yeah, I didn't do it.
I know that they did it, and my buddy went, and I just obviously I'm happy I went to San Francisco, but at the time I was like, fuck, a little butthurt.
Oh yeah, I was, the FOMO was real. I mean,
Yeah,
if I were to choose one, I would do the Jam Cruise.
yeah.
But you know,
Looking back at it,
in
I'm
hindsight,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
hindsight's 2020.
yeah.
And I'm not a cruise guy, so I don't know if I mean, I could do a
I've
Jam Cruise, but that's about the only cruise you're gonna
I've
see me
never
on.
done a cruise.
Yeah,
I've heard mixed reviews,
yeah. I'm
and
not into
could go
that.
either way. But yeah, I was just wondering. I mean, you kind of touched on it. What's your relationship with like D and the crew?
I mean, I don't really have a huge relationship with
I mean,
them,
he obviously
but
knows you are.
yeah,
You're
I
all.
mean,
I mean, right?
maybe, I don't know. I mean, I've met him a
Um,
bunch. Like but I mean, I don't. Well, first off, when I get around D, like lock up. Like I'm a
yeah,
smooth talker most of the time, but around D, for whatever it is, like I get starstruck. He's probably the only person besides like maybe like really big like athletes that like I would just get starstruck around. And I just don't know what to say. But I mean, I've said hi to him. I've given him like stickers like that have like the YouTube channel on them and stuff. So like he's aware of it all, I think. But we've never had a chance to chat about it. I used to chat with Greg a lot, like because I used to be around the Shark Tank all the time, and have been like in the Shark Tank with friends and stuff before. So like I know them. And then like a lot of the stream people I've met over the years, like Smokey, met him back in the day, and still kind of like follow him on his socials and stuff. And then more recently, Tonks, Nick, who does
Oh, T1, is that T1?
yeah, on
Okay.
Discord. He does a lot of the like biometric stuff and like the chats
Yeah.
in the stream and things like that. A lot of the widgets and like I forget exactly what they're called and how he implements it, but I've been chatting with him a lot because he's the one that like adds little things to the streams, and I pick up on all. I'll be like, "Oh, I noticed you did this on this stream that you hadn't done before," and he'll be like, "How did you notice? You always notice, you know." And so like he, you
Yeah.
know, so him and I have had a pretty cool relationship that we've had over the last couple years. And then, Phil from the management side reached out, and I hooked him up with some of the data from my YouTube channel, just in terms of like where people are viewing from and stuff like that. So there's been some communication, but I mean, I think realistically, there's like a good separation between what is official Pretty Lights business and what I'm doing, and then I think that's for the best. But yeah, so there's not like I don't really have like a real relationship with
Okay.
them besides just, like any other obsessed fan.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, just it's weird. Your mind plays these scenarios in your head before you like get to know people and stuff. Like for instance, I thought Ashley was like a part of the team because she was like when I first saw her doing these requests, I'm like, oh, she must be like affiliated with them or whatever.
Yeah,
And then I thought Ethan was like in the crew. I thought he was like literally like had a role in the crew. And then
yeah.
like I thought, and then like he just I don't know. I figured Derek goes and says what up to the rail. I don't know how
I mean, he
now I
does.
know.
Yeah, he does. He comes by. Like
Yeah,
I,
I mean,
takes selfie with you. I always thank him and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
But like, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, he's saying hi to 100 and whatever people that are on rails. So it's like he might know more. I just assume he's got a lot of other shit to worry about.
Sure.
But
I just think, in my mind, I didn't know until now. I thought you like always maybe rode the rail or something. And,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
I'm also thinking you're at like every show. So like, I don't know, whatever. But like, just like you were saying before, I mean, he's quite literally larger than life. So it's
yeah,
like kind of that, like, whereas like, I mean, I talked to Greg on multiple occasions. I kind of had the most real conversation with him after the show on Tuesday, but it's just a little more of an approachable thing. Just one, he's not getting bombarded, and two, it's just a little. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge fan of everyone, but it's like you kind of feel a little more like, all right. And then also, it's like you you want to like just like you said, like when you say to Tiwanka or like all them, you have something good to say because you don't want to be like, hey, I love you, you're amazing. You
yeah.
want to like
That's
give
pretty
them
much all
something.
I've ever said to Derek.
Yeah, and it's like, especially in those moments when, like, what are you really gonna say, and what's he really gonna retain, and it's almost nearly the chances are slim to none that you're even gonna get there. But with anyone else, it's a little easier to like think of that like good thing to. I don't know,
Yeah, no, I
but
get like full on social anxiety around those dudes, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm just one of many thousands of fans. Like, why do they even care to talk to me, kind of thing. But no one's ever treated me that way. That is 100% in my brain and only there. Everyone from the crew has been so nice and so chill over the years, and we had a lot of interactions with them back in the day when Will Guy was doing his live recordings and stuff like that. So, and everyone's been super chill, and yeah. So I mean, I really love everybody on the crew, and all the photo people are dope because they're always seeing the same of stupid people like us on rail, and they're like, "Oh, you're here again?" It's like, yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, the whole crew's been awesome, but yeah, I don't have any special connections. Yeah, people think like I get like guest passes to every show. It's like, no, I'm paying for these, just like everybody
yeah.
else. I wish.
So speaking of, you touched on earlier, like the poster thing. I mean, you're VIP all the time. Are you like? Do you have plans to frame all? Have you been framing all of them? Like, what's your plan with all the like merchandise that comes with
Yeah,
all that?
no, I mean, I haven't framed a poster since he came back. So like, I mean, I've got what or no, Telluride 2015s in my office here. I have like a lot of the episodic.
Wait,
Um,
you have this one?
I don't have that one. No,
No,
no, that one's
that's
sick,
like
and that's signed. Like
that's my
that's the holy
prize.
grail for sure.
The eight piece, right?
Yeah,
That is, yeah, that's my
yeah,
favorite.
that's the holy grail. Is that 2016 Telluride or?
No, it's 15 because that's
Okay,
the eight piece band. Eric Krasno's on there.
okay,
the whole Analog Future plus Krasno
Grasno,
and
yeah.
Carnes. Yeah.
Got you. I think that's the GA poster.
So you had to purchase that. I got the VIP. So I don't know if you saw one of the.
I just forget which one that is because that's the 2015 Telluride one too, but I don't know. I think
that was probably the VIP.
Okay.
And then because I know the next year, like they had like that the block PL logo, and it was kind of like every location just had like the block on it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that logo.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the isometric one. Yeah. I have those in like the rest of my apartment, like every stop from that tour. But no, I have a closet full of poster tubes that are full of posters, and I mean, I've got some rare ones from back in the day. So I think at some point I'm gonna get like people kept telling me on tour about these like portfolios that you can essentially get, right? That are like poster size portfolios, and you can kind of flip through them or whatever.
Kind of like the old poster shops, like
at like a record store,
Spencer's and shit.
Or Spencer's, So kind of like that. So I guess those are
that's
a thing.
Cool. So it's not as much like wall.
I just don't have. Yeah, I live in a 2-bedroom apartment in the city. Like I only have so many walls, and I'm not a huge fan of like overloading your walls with posters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna get one of those and put a lot in them. But I also have a lot of extras. So I mean, spoiler or teaser to people out there, I'm probably going to be selling a lot of posters later this year. If anyone's really looking for some posters, so keep an eye out.
Talk on the side to see what you got.
Yeah, I'll share it with you, but before I make it public. But but I've got some good ones, and because I have like 2 of every one because it's me and my wife doing everything, right? So I have 2 of like, so I can, I have an extra.
Can I get your Chicago from New Year's?
Yeah, we can talk.
I'll trade you my regular one,
the GA.
Yeah.
All right. Let's chat. I do. The VIP is a banger from Chicago.
The VIP is so sick. So fucking sick. I want it so fucking bad.
It's really good. I may have an extra. I need to figure that out. Let's chat.
Okay, cool. So my dream is to, if I can build this thing up enough, get a studio and have like all the art, a bunch of stuff like that. But in general, I have an 800 square foot fucking 1-bedroom in San Diego. So my wife is already not crazy about all this shit. So a lot. I framed my San Francisco, and I have my Tahoe, Vegas, and now Chicago tubed up, and I still have a gorge. Still have Northern Ireland. I still have fucking
I've got some cool ones from the Fillmore Detroit shows in 2017.
Dude, okay, I saw that. Was that did they do 2 nights at the Fillmore Detroit, and then did they do it at Philly after
Philly
that
for New Year's Eve? Yeah.
And was that the Pretty Lights Live band, or was that just Derek by himself?
Live band. Yeah, Pretty Lights Live.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Because those were the last shows before Red Rocks, right? He didn't play any.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Damn.
So those.
And Red Rocks was solo, right? The last one.
I
thought it was.
I don't think so. I don't know, man. How do I not remember that? I don't know. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank on that. I would have to look it back up. But were they solo? I don't know.
I thought I heard it was, and then okay, run me while we're on the topic. What was the vibe like there? Like
Which
after
one?
the show during 18?
Oh,
I mean, what like?
It was sad,
like,
man.
Just knowing that
it was sad. It was. We left.
Were they saying like? Did he say like, hey, like, or was it just was it just the chit chat and the fucking talks like, hey, this is it?
I think we all like, he didn't explicitly say anything in terms of like, oh, I'll be back or I won't be back or like anything like that. I mean, I'm sure he said some like alluded to some things cryptically as he always does. But we left just being like, wow, that's crazy that could be the last ever Pretty Lights show. Like that's how we all kind of felt afterwards. We were like just uncertain if he would ever come back because the trajectory was going down in a way, like, you know what I mean? Like he'd been playing less shows, The band had, it just felt like things had kind of plateaued, if not were receding a little bit, I think. And so we were all concerned for sure. So it was a somber, like after night one, it was a party, but then after night two, it was like kind of somber. And we still had a blast. We partied hard at the Airbnb afterwards, but it was definitely kind of like one of those, that could be it. Like that could be the end of it all type feelings. But I think deep down inside, we all knew he would do something again eventually. But I never thought the comeback would be like what it is, and I never would have guessed we'd be where we are today. So
well worth the wait.
Fuck yeah, I'd do it again if I had to.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it too. I mean, I needed it. I think a lot of people need it. I mean, dude, the amount my life has changed since then. I mean, I definitely grew up a lot, and I moved out here. I mean, I got engaged, and I got married shortly after the. I mean, I kind of needed to step back and.
Well, and then COVID happened, so it was some hiatus was gonna happen either way, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but same here. Like, I got married over the hiatus. I mean, I proposed to my wife at the second Telluride on top of the mountain there,
awesome.
which was sick.
Sweet.
But we got married in 2018 after Red Rocks, and that was cool too because we had a lot of our wedding was like a third her family, a third my family, and a third Pretty Lights fam. And so it was probably like 120 people. And so we had a great DJ. Yeah, in downtown Chicago at the Wit Hotel, if you know where that's at, like right across the street from the Chicago Theater there. So super cool spot.
Oh shit.
And it was just dope to have so many like Pretty Lights friends, and like we had a really good DJ, so turned into like a very Pretty Lights-esque, dance party by the end of the night and stuff. So but yeah, we all needed like those years to kind of get our shit together, grow a little bit, get our money together, get our careers together, and then come back better than ever. So it was good. We all needed it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a trip. By the way, I was going to ask, how'd you meet your wife? And did she get you? Did you get her into Pretty Lights, or like how did you meet her through Pretty Lights?
I guess technically I got her into it. No, we met. I lost a friend over her is the best way of putting it. She was dating a friend of mine. Yeah, she was dating a friend of mine, and kind of he screwed it up, and I was like, hey, you're pretty dope, and it went around from there and never talked to him again. So that's kind of like our history. But then she got me into Deadmau5, and then I got her into Pretty Lights, and then we kind of have just been doing Pretty Lights shows ever since. She's probably like, I don't know, 10 15 shows behind me, but we've been to a lot of shows together. It's definitely a cornerstone of our relationship for sure.
She's from the Chicago area as well?
Yeah, west suburbs, but yeah.
Gotcha. Naperville?
Bartlett.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's actually further up north. I just always...
It's not as... Yeah.
You know how everyone always says Naperville.
Yeah. Naperville's like southwest, though.
I know, it actually, because I know, like... But, everyone kind of just puts it in there. But, yeah, fucking... I have, I grew up Mount Prospect, and Bartlett's kind of near-ish.
Yeah, just west Schaumburg, of you guys. Right? Yeah. Just south of Schaumburg, yeah. Or west, yeah.
All right, I got my rapid fires real quick.
Okay,
right?
Bring it on.
All right. PL shows, indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor.
Urban or rural?
Urban.
Band or solo?
Band. I mean, that's a loaded question, but quick answer, band.
Deitch or Alvin?
Deitch. That hurts. Sorry, Alvin. I love you.
I know. Yeah, it's no disrespect.
If you're watching this.
Hey, if we're going vibes, I'm going.
Yeah, right.
And then Snapback or the Fitteds?
Oh, I'm Fitteds. Not even close. Yeah.
I know. Hey, but while we're on the topic,
I got a big head, so.
I don't know. All the snapbacks came out. I don't know. I'm a fitted guy. I'm also bald, so like, my forehead sticking out of a fucking, hole in the hat doesn't look too fucking great.
That's fair. Yeah. No, I've never. I mean, I never have been into snapbacks, and then like specifically the the pretty light snapbacks, the older ones, they ran really like shallow, and so
Oh
like my
yeah,
head doesn't even fit in them. Like I got them, and they were the first jib I ever got because I didn't have it fitted yet.
yeah,
So I made them work for years.
yeah.
But then once I got this bad boy in like 2018 from the Red Rocks, the last Red Rocks show, before the hiatus, I was like, I never wearing those snapbacks again, and now they collect dust up in my closet.
Yeah, you probably had to just not even put it all the way on, right? Probably
Yes,
like
lean it
yeah,
back. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Oh, fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, those fucking things, dude, leave a.
Well, and I had like 10 pounds of pins on them back in the day.
Oh, dude,
Yeah. So that doesn't
yeah,
help either. I don't
dude,
put
we
pins
all.
on my hats anymore, but back in the day, I would have, yeah, the 10-pound hat that Derek would always comment
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I still love pins. I'll put like I only put them on like this part,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
maybe do like one or two, but like it does after a while fuck them up and shit. I still love them, and I still
Yeah.
fucking
I still have them all on my board, but I just don't put them in hats anymore. Yeah. My wife started putting them on backpacks and stuff, which is cool.
yeah, that is cool. The pin game was crazy,
Yeah.
by the way. That was nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into Chicago. Oh, real quick, since we were on venues, I mean, Wintrust was actually pretty dope. How did you feel though?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. For me, I've been to all these
The
West
only
Coast
issues
shows.
were the logistics in that for the floor, the bathroom situation was not ideal. And
Oh,
the
okay.
bar situation was kind of less than ideal. There's like one bar and those tiny little bathrooms, and that was the only thing that was like on the floor level. So those bathrooms got crazy. Like when I went to go to the bathroom before the show night one, and there was like a huge line for the guys room. I was like, there's a line for the guys room before the show? Like, what is happening? But it just, because it's a basketball arena, it's not designed to have that many people on the floor that need to use
True.
the
Yeah.
facilities. So like that was the only downside. Like if I were to like comparing it to like a Hampton, I would go to Hampton over, it
Okay.
over every time. Like Hampton was amazing. It was a huge arena, but the logistics of it, there was bars everywhere, there were bathrooms everywhere, so you didn't have to like really fight. It was awesome. I was really impressed with Hampton.
Well, because Hampton it's a venue. It's not like a sporting
Right.
event.
Yeah, they've been doing concerts since it's been built. So
Yeah.
yeah, so like I definitely got the feeling, and I'm talking with the security guards and stuff, that like Wintrust, like concerts is like 5% of what they do. So like it was just, they're just not, it's just not their forte.
Gotcha.
But the sound quality was great. The staff was
Mhm.
overall very nice kids. They were all
Chill.
kids. They were all
Yeah.
like the security guards were like all like 20-year-old kids, I felt like. But
We were smoking weed like
oh
openly,
yeah, they didn't
just like
care. Yeah, they
yeah.
didn't care at all. But I had much better experiences at other venues. I would say Wintrust was not like a bad venue, but it wasn't high on my list from
Yeah.
this
Well,
tour.
for me, I've been doing all these West Coast ones, and the Warfield was smaller and relative for what it was. It was decent size, but like, and Red Rocks is always that way. But for instance, like Tahoe, Vegas, those lot of room and just like I don't know. It was like the first time in a while then I can remember that I was at like a fucking packed show, but like not packed to where it was uncomfortable. And
Mm,
I haven't been drinking, so like I don't even think I fucking used the restroom because I wasn't drinking, so I
mm.
didn't have to like piss or anything, and I didn't have to go to the bar. So like that to me, I guess I didn't see these things that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, everyone has a different experience.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was just what I noticed in terms of just like the logistics of the venue. But
yeah,
but it was a nice venue. Like, I mean, it was in good shape. They treated us well. Like I said, the sound quality, the production was all really, really great in that space.
yeah, yeah. All right, well, yeah, let's get into these Chicago
Let's do it.
runs, man. What do you? I mean, obviously you live there, but did you do the pop up and everything? What are your pre-show activities like typically like, or all that?
Yeah, I mean, they've now turned into getting in line for that rail spot. So yeah, I mean, I didn't do the pop up again. Like, none of the merch really called out to me. The flannel jacket. I'm not a flannel guy. I don't wear flannel. The snapbacks. I don't wear snapbacks. So just like none of the, so none of it really called out to me. So instead, we just got in line at like 2, 3 in the afternoon, day one. Um, and yeah, just hung out. I mean, like, it's the same like 40 people on rail every show.
Yeah.
So we've all just become really cool friends. And so you just hang out in line, share, everyone's got like stickers and pins and uh, mini jibs and stuff that they're sharing with each other, and chatting about whatever, and just, yeah, making friends in line. And yeah, and then getting in and getting that spot on rail, and then hanging out for 2.5 hours until the music starts or whatever it is. So it's a lot of just chilling, but we made a lot of good friends. The Justins, Justin Balboa and Grudel or Gradle, are just awesome guys that we're in line with all the time. Kelly is always the first person in line at every show. She gets there at like 11 a.m. at every show. So just meeting up with all our crazy rail line people and hanging out with them.
One of these days, I'm gonna join you guys because I don't know. I would like again. I didn't really plan on doing this, but my whole thing about going was like I'm going here to get shit done and kind of like work on the project rather than like look at it as a party and everything. So I went to the pop up mainly to buy merch for some friends, but also to like interact with people in line and kind of got like talk to some people, got a little bit of content, and everything like that. But I other than that, like I was kind of just getting antsy and I'm like, I need to fucking be out and like talking to people. I wanted to get to the venue so much earlier, but I'm also first show's back in a minute. I'm staying at my buddy's house and it's just like, we got to wait for this and that. But yeah, I definitely, that whole thing is like you said, you meet people and like make these connections. And Ashley was talking about this as well, that it's nice to like have those times to like just connect with people rather than like trying to do it over shows and things.
Yeah. Well, when you're on the rail, you don't talk to each other. Like, you are fully in it. Like, you are almost on the stage. So yeah, you ain't talking. So yeah, it is that time to like catch up and like actually get to know the people, and share in the tea and the drama of the Pretty Lights family. It's great. We've had some great times hanging out with the rail line, and I would recommend. I mean, obviously, if you want a rail spot nowadays, and the way it's set up now is you got to get a VIP ticket, right? Because you got to
Yeah,
have that early
no, for
entry.
sure.
And but I recommend anyone that's got a VIP ticket, one of the days, go try and get a rail spot. Go and stand in that. Come to the line, hang out with the fam, earn your spot on the rail, and enjoy it. I think it's a blast. But it's not for everybody, and sometimes like you might not want to do it and just change it up because there's so many different perspectives to take in the lights and the production from. But I definitely think it's something worth trying, but you got to get there. You got to get there early, and you got to earn it, because what's cool is everybody that's been in line all day knows everybody else that's been in line all day, and so when you get in there, if you try and come up and steal a spot on the rail, you're going to get a lot of people on your ass real quick, because
Yeah.
they all were there together and they all know who else was there. So I do think, don't try and sneak a spot on the rail. If you want to do the rail, go in line early, and wait like everybody else and earn your spot. And it's a really great time when you do.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely want to, because obviously that will only be a benefit to this project and everything that I'm trying to do. But one thing I did notice in Tahoe, which was a trip, is like I was, you're in it, like you said, and then I just all of a sudden look left. I'm like, holy fuck, the TV, the projector screen is all the way over there, and then the other one's all the way over. Like
Yeah.
you're in,
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
fucking
You
in.
don't
Yeah.
see the
So
so screens very often. No.
no, fuck no,
Yeah.
no.
And I mean, then Tahoe was one of the bigger stages. I mean, Boston was tiny. Like, we felt like we were on the stage with them in Boston. Same with St. Augustine too. St. Augustine was super intimate, which I wasn't expecting for like an outdoor amphitheater. Really sick venue. I really liked St. Augustine.
Dude, I actually looking ahead at it, I was just thrown off by the uh, whatever that like awning thing or whatever, and I
Yeah,
was like, but
like the tarp.
yeah, but like I'm like, okay, just then when I watched on the stream, okay, it makes sense. I was just thinking that people were gonna like be on like I don't know if there's a lawn or anything like that, but I
No,
just like
there
was
isn't.
thinking,
It's seats.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Do
yeah.
you know what's the capacity at that venue? Is it like
4 or 5,000,
3,200?
something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, I'd have to double check. I think it was like 4 or 5,000. I think
Gotcha.
it was it felt smaller than that though. Like maybe it's smaller than that. It felt intimate. It was more
Yeah.
intimate than I thought it was going to. The staff there was sick. They were all just like chill Florida beach people. Like they were all just a vibe. Like the second night or whatever, third night, whatever it was when we had the birthday hats for Derek, like all of the people working there wanted birthday hats. So like
Yeah.
literally it
Nice.
was the dude selling acai bowls in the back was wearing a birthday hat. Like it
Oh, that's
was,
amazing.
or well, he asked me for one when I got my acai bowl. So I was like, all right. And I came back with hats for him and his crew and they were all wearing them. It was a party, man. Everyone was so chill down there.
That's awesome. I love when I see like staff or security and they're like getting
Yeah, they're
down.
getting it.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah,
No,
dude.
dude, I can't say enough about the St. Augustine staff. They were my favorite staff of the tour, I think. Just at Bethel, probably a close second to that. Everyone at Bethel was super chill.
That's actually when I started to notice you on the rail.
Yeah, I was dead center at Bethel. Bethel night one, I was the first person in the amphitheater.
Oh, damn.
Because I got there at like 2 or whatever we had been doing, and I was the first person in line. I was like, I've never been the first person in line. This is crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
literally walked in night one, and I was the first person in there completely by myself, and I was like, this is so cool.
Wow. That's awesome, dude. And then you
Yeah,
just see the progression just fill of people file in. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
All right, dude. Well, yeah, let's fucking roll,
All right, yeah,
man.
let's get into it.
This 2-night run. All right, but before we get started, I mean, this was just phenomenal. Easily one of my favorites from start to finish. You just can't say enough. There's like you said, you text me. These sets are pure gold. So
Yeah. All right. So wait, hold on. Let me turn the tables on you real quick. Lightning round. Which did you prefer, night one or night two?
it's it's so hard. Okay, because I have like, if you're just talking music, I don't know. Set one, night one was amazing.
Yes.
Set one, night
Facts.
one was amazing.
It was the
I
best
mean,
set. Facts.
yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're talking music, but then like, so set two was good. But night two,
I mean, set two was pretty. I mean, night for yeah, I thought my hot or like unpopular opinion here, hot take was that night one was better than night two.
I mean,
That was yeah,
yeah. If you're talking,
like
if you're
music.
talking just music,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always kind of a night one guy. I just feel like that the vibes always kind of hit for me. Not only like you kind of get the,
But they
just
came out
more,
hard for a night
yeah,
one. Like there was,
yeah,
it was like a night two essentially. Like it was.
yeah.
They
But
were.
the vibes aside from the music always kind of being like, I feel like they play to the heads a little more on night ones, but
Yeah.
like also the vibe is like, it's like
Agreed.
Christmas Eve vibe, I call it, because Christmas Eve is better than Christmas Day, because Christmas Day you open your presents and the rest of the day's like, it's over.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though it's still,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like after Christmas Eve, you're like, we still got tomorrow and
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean,
I just thought they were just on point all of night one.
yeah,
Like I just felt there was not a single lull in the set. Like the transitions were perfect. Carnes
yeah,
was adding samples at a rate like I felt like he's never done before.
yeah.
Borum was going off. Michael was crushing it. Anyways, we'll get into the specifics.
And
But
Greg
like,
was killing, of course.
yeah, I thought night one was just money. But I mean, they both were amazing nights. Like going back and listening, I was like, damn, we got some good ones.
Yeah. I mean, night two was just it was kind of like Vegas for me. Like I loved the music on night one Vegas, but night two is just like such a party. But like this, especially the New Year's stuff, and I'll touch on this as we get down towards that. But like, there's a lot of like sometimes when I talk to people about like some of my favorite shows, it's not you can't just put the music into there's all things considered, and it's like the people you're with and like all the variables come into play, like as like where you were and things that happen and things like that, and a lot of things I was going through just in my life and everything like that kind of like hit me all at once, and just which we'll touch.
Yeah, there's always
later,
that
but
like
yeah.
personal subjective kind of portion of things. Yeah.
And listening back to them, I was just like, man, like that was definitely a perfect like New Year's Eve like show set, like in terms of especially when they started to get towards the countdown and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah, we'll get there. I know exactly.
But yeah, all right, let's kick it off.
Yeah, let's do it.
This people, I don't know what they're calling this. This people get ready or not. All of the lights. I thought it was just an all of the lights, like
well,
thing,
it felt like an intro. Like it felt like a proper intro that they had planned to like be an intro. And that that ready or not was just hot. just straight heat right off the bat. I was like, oh, this is how we're starting. Let's fucking go.
And I love all of the lights, and I
Well,
kind of forgot about it. And yeah,
and they played all of the lights at Salt Shed last year. So I don't know if it's a Chicago song in his mind or something, but he
I
played it
think
last
it's
year.
Kanye. It's Kanye shit,
Yeah, it's Kanye, and it's the city like Chicago is got a lot of
Yeah.
lights. It's pretty
Hmm.
beautiful. Um, but yeah, because last when we were at Salt Shed, whatever night that was that he played it, we got it. They let us into the venue a little early while they were still sound checking, and they were sound checking all of the lights. And so I was like, "Oh, we're getting this tonight." And then sure enough, we got it. And then yeah, and then all of the lights. But they I don't know if you noticed, but like they did that intro with the Ready or Not, and then there was like it turned into a drum and bass track.
Yeah.
And then they drum and bassed into all of the lights more formally. And I was like, whoa, I'm a huge drum and bass guy. So like I was like, let's
Yeah.
go, like drum and bass to start, because we didn't get a million tomorrows drum and bass, which is fine. But that was sick. And so I was really, yeah, that whole intro into all of the lights was sick. Yeah.
I just love when they kind of subtly play something and it's not quite there, but it's different, you know? I mean, it just feels, I don't know. It just, yeah, I really fucking loved it. And like I have in my notes right here, like right then and there on that, I was like, hook, line, and sinker sold. This is gonna be my tops. Like right here. That when they opened up like that, I'm like, yo, I'm fucking in. And yeah, I mean, from there you got this Fly Away Another Day, and they're throwing these Chicago visuals in there, and like just, and again, this is, I haven't been home for a show since 2017. I mean, this is just such a homecoming for me, and it's just like, and again, I wasn't supposed to go until like a week before. It was just all like, it just, yeah, I was just taking it in, man. And yeah, I mean, and they throw in some little extra stuff, that Lenny Kravitz Fly Away thing.
Mm.
I don't know if they've ever done that before.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, yeah.
And oh, they have.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, and have they done the Lupe
No,
in there?
no. Lupe
Okay.
was, I mean, Lupe's from Chicago. They did a lot
Yeah,
of
no,
Lupe.
I didn't know that when he's like, when I was young, I had visions of another world, that whole thing.
I don't think they did that before, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Carnes, you never know.
Either way, it's
But
it's
yeah,
it's not it's not common
no, and
there.
yeah, he
So,
did a lot of Lupe over both
yeah,
nights. Yep, I jotted that down.
it seemed like, because I was listening to that song, yeah, I feel like they kind of, I don't know if he used Lupe in it or if he took it from another thing, but it was saying like swirl, swirl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was just a cool little extra thing. But in the last minute of that, just goes crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, it was nuts. But then, so Gold Coast Hustle,
Yeah, Chicago
uh,
classic. You got to play it in
but
Chicago.
they did that Earth, Wind, and Fire fantasy intro,
Hmm.
and that was a really nice touch to
Yeah,
it. But
brought
I
some
looked,
Beastie Boys in there too. Eventually, I think.
yeah, and I looked back. So, I'm shout out Chris. I use his site as a tool to help me like with this stuff. But I start to like look at songs. So that was the third time when this tour was played. So the others were E Force and the Armory, and those are three Midwest states. So
Yeah, Gold Coast Hustle is a Chicago song. Period. I mean, we have the Gold Coast is in
a
Chicago.
neighborhood of Chicago.
Yeah,
And hey, shout out to any of you guys who think it's the West Coast. It is not.
yeah. I
It's
mean, there is a
Chicago.
West Coast, like they're that you can't. Yeah, there's a Gold Coast over there too. But the Gold Coast Hustle is about hustling on the
Yeah.
north side of
It's
Chicago.
yeah,
Let's
and
be
it's the
real.
River North, Gold Coast,
Yeah,
fucking,
the Viagra Triangle over there in Old Town, like that whole area.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. So then, yeah, they go keep them bouncing. I mean, I didn't really have many notes on this. I don't know if you
I
do.
mean, I said it was funky. It was just a funky keep him bouncing. Borum was going off on the synths. And then I think Derek started playing with the analog synths really well there. I think like that's one of the coolest evolutions I've seen, because I was not a big fan of like a lot of the analog synth stuff back in the day. Like I liked the secret sets and stuff, but like I mean, I'll be honest, and I'll probably catch flack with this from some people, but like when he did like that half an hour or hour long analog stuff at Vegas New Year's, I left. Like I was like,
At the
I'm,
show or at
yeah,
the
at the show.
yeah, no, I didn't like that stuff
It
either.
was like night one of that stop, so it was
Yeah.
like not New Year's Eve. And yeah, he like played like 30, 45 minutes of analog stuff, and I literally like went out of the venue and like hung out with everyone smoking cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I was just like, bro, like I can't with this right now. And so I really like to see what he's done this tour with the analog synths, where he's it's really turned it into an instrument that flows with the rest of the music and isn't as abrupt, and like, it really flows so much better. And he's so much more calculated in how he uses it. So I really love the progression.
It accents rather than holds the song hostage.
Yeah, agreed. It adds a great layer. Like, that's what's always cool with Pretty Lights, has such depth to it. That's why I can't get into like bass music or even like Motif. No offense to Motif, but like, just the layers that Pretty Lights has, the depth to it, is what is so rewarding. You'll hear stuff that I've listened to the song 100 times and I only just heard this sample or whatever. And so I feel like he's done a great job layering that in since the return. Um, and I mean, who doesn't like an oscilloscope thing when he's just messing with the frequencies and whatnot? Yeah,
No, I'm in for that because I feel like when a lot of times it's like done at the right
right.
moments and stuff like that, and it's just like I remember at Tahoe, everyone was kind of just like Borum, and everyone's just kind of like looking up. I think Borum and Mike were actually like right next to each other and kind of just like
Yeah.
looking up how they do like the laser shit, which is like all good and fine in its moment, but to tie back to that Halloween run of Ascend Amphitheater and Freaky Deaky, he's doing that mad scientist prop shit a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I remember at both shows, I was like this girl was saying her parents came and her mom came with me. She's like, what's he doing? What is this? And I'm like, I don't know. And then when we were at Freaky Deaky, I was with this guy I was working with, and he's a big bass sector head, and all his friends are with us. And I saw his friends all going like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm just like, I don't know. But I mean, hey, I'm like, I say this every time. I'm not Pretty Lights. He could do whatever the fuck he wants because he's the man. And we're just
Well, when
we're just having a
we're
conversation.
allowed to have opinions. We're allowed to like it or not like it or whatever.
Did it stop us? Fuck no.
Yeah, well, hell no.
Yeah. So okay, but after that, I just gotta say, I mean, Trip Through Time.
Yeah, the vocal
obviously.
transition into Trip Through Time was sick. Yeah.
And I mean, one of my favorites for obvious reasons. But so this is the 6th official time it's been played. As we all know, it debuted at Hampton, followed by Forest, Red Rocks, Vegas. First time I heard it live, Boston and Chicago. So I kind of ran back. I was actually with Ethan and some of his friends at this moment. I kind of ran back to my friends, especially my buddy Stip that I do this with, and it was kind of an exciting, fun moment. But I love the Lives in a Dream, the Eleanor Rigby, the
Yeah.
love
The
that
Beatles,
stuff.
yeah.
But so this is a funny coincidence. Like Chris, getting to know him, he loves The Time Has Come. So it's like Trip Through Time, The Time Has Come. And just so happens that so when I saw it in Vegas, they played Trip Through Time, but they hopscotched over to Time Has Come, but they jumped over Solar Sailor. And my buddy Sip, we have this Pretty Lights fantasy football league, and his name, we all try to use our names for Pretty Lights songs, and he's Solar Sipper. So it's funny, they go Trip Through Time, Solar Sailor, and then Time Has Come. But then after that was when I got Chris on the podcast, and then fast forward hours before that, we gave him the money from the raffle, and then they go Trip Through Time into Time Has
That's
Come.
awesome.
And then like I text him, and he's like, "Dude, that's a fucking sign from the universe, man." So it was just again, that set was already hitting, and that was just really special to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, the Lakeshore Drive sample that they used in Time Has Come was sick.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
love
it was
every Chicagoan loves a good Lakeshore Drive reference. Like, that's like, that's low hanging fruit for us. So you throw that out there, we're eating it up. But so that was sick. They did a great job with the Chicago samples. They always do, because there's so many songs that call out Chicago. So they did a great job. That was
to Chicago.
Yeah. So they did a great job with that on there. The Lakeshore Drive sample, I was really liking that. And then, I mean, like, the next song for me was my favorite part of the first set. Maybe, I guess, I don't know. The last part is good too, but the Teardrop, the Massive Attack. I've never listened to Massive Attack. I didn't know that song. Never heard of it before. I was asking my wife and Chris, my buddy, was like, "What is this?" He's like, "Oh, it's Massive Attack." I was like, "Okay, whatever. This is sick." Like that. Like that just felt so cool. I really like that moment. I've listened to that a lot since they did that.
Yeah, I mean, again, this set has been steadily going back for me. I mean, before I had sat down and been like, okay, I'm gonna run through all these and take notes. Like I was consistently running through this.
Yeah. So yeah, and then they did like the Steve Miller Band sample in there too, "Fly
Mhm.
Like an Eagle," which my buddy Caesar loves. He was screaming when they were doing that. They had Kendrick in there. They brought Prince
Yeah.
in, which they brought Prince back, which I was surprised by.
Was that the Doves Cry
Yeah,
thing or
yeah,
whatever?
yep.
I thought it was Thugs Cry for a second, and then and then I'm like, wait, no, that doesn't sound like it. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, they played that in Minnesota because Prince is from Minnesota, so I was kind of surprised to hear them bring that one back. But I love Prince and I love that song, so I was all
yeah,
about it. Yeah, and then that went into what?
that went into
Short
Short
Line.
Line,
Yeah, yeah,
which is second time this tour, other being Red Rock's, third since the return being the Caverns.
great song.
Again, kind of not a bust out, but
Oh, deep cut.
not common.
Yeah, deep
Yeah,
cut.
deep cut. And then I think it was relatively short. I think it was only a couple minutes, but
Yeah, My Other Love.
yeah, it's hard to say. I can't even. I ask people, and I will ask you standout moment of the set for you. I don't. It's this whole set's the standout moment. But
Yeah.
my other fucking, I cut my wedding cake to this song. I've said it
Oh
on
yeah,
multiple
I
podcasts.
heard that on the pod. Yeah.
So, but I've never like the
Yeah.
way it turned. I mean, this was unreal. Which okay, real quick. By the way, I was listening at work today, and like I have this like warehouse, type job where I can, there's forklifts going around, so I can listen to, like, I got this speaker that so I'm jamming it. But this guy comes up to me and I'm listening to that song, and after it ends, I turn it off because we're packing up and shit. And he's like, I was trying to figure out what song I was listening to, and it felt like three. And I'm like, swirl,
Yeah,
baby.
swirl. Yeah, I literally put
Yeah.
in my notes watching this. I just said my other swirl. Like that's
Oh,
what
that's
it is.
good.
My other swirl. Like it was that was sick. When that ended, we all looked at each other and we're like, that was set one, night one? Like that's how that just ended? Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think what I've re-listened to the most from that set was the Massive Attack Teardrop swirl, but
Mhm.
my other swirl was right there with
Yeah.
it. Like those two were my favorite parts of the first set, but the whole first set, there was not a moment where I was like, okay, let's move on to the next song, or like, okay, let's keep it
No,
going. Like it was
never.
just gold. And then if you look at the sample list that Carnes was
Oh,
throwing
it's
down, it's
insane. Yeah.
insane. There's
It's
like
insane. Yeah.
it was like an hour and 10 minutes and there's like 45 samples in it. It's like you're crazy,
Mhm.
dude.
Yeah, I didn't even like try and find. I mean, I know there's Talib Kweli in there. There's Queen. There's
There's
some sick
Imagine
horns.
Dragons, I think. There was like all sorts of stuff in there, man.
So much,
Yeah, it was crazy.
but it was 19 minutes and 28
The
seconds.
swirl was?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
and if you're talking the original like classification or terminology of what Pretty Lights music was before this era, electro, hip hop, soul, like My Other Love is that to a T.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but what a great set. I
Sick
mean,
set.
yeah, I guess you already said your standout moments. So let's dive into
Yeah,
set two.
for sure.
Sun spreads in our minds. 15 minutes, 46 seconds.
Yeah, I love a sun spreads. I think I was just talking with friends about this recently. Like, it's one of my, it's not like one of my favorite songs just overall, but it's one of my favorite songs in that like we've seen it evolve from like I think about like one of the shows that very few people went to that I know of was 400 Fest, which was at the
Was it
Indy.
Ohio or
And it
Indiana?
was at the Indianapolis like racetrack where they do like the Indy 500 or whatever. But it was like a NASCAR race, and so it was Pretty Lights opening for the Chain Smokers. That was the lineup.
Uh,
So we went, we drove
what
down
year
there.
was this?
This was 2017 before the
Oh
episodic
shit!
tour.
Really?
Yeah, it was before the
Wow.
episodic tour 2017. He played like some festival like a week or two before, and then he played that solo before doing the tour with the band.
Oh.
So it was like really weird. Like I think it was something done to please a promoter or to do
I
something.
mean,
Like, it
or
seemed
maybe
really,
make a quick buck and go
yeah,
fucking. I
yeah.
mean,
I don't
which I
know.
got respect
Oh
for.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah. So
fucking,
I don't know
yeah.
what, but like, so there were not many Pretty Lights fans at this show. It was 90% Chainsmokers fans or people who were just there for NASCAR or whatever. But yeah, so we had a blast, but like he played Sun Spreads before, like that was like when he, I don't know if it was the first time, I think it was one of the first times he ever
This is
played Sun
2017. You
Spreads.
said,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I actually like because at the Gorge, like I always say, that was like the debut of a lot of stuff, and like in my again going back to like not being able to, I don't know if they were streaming stuff back then, and if they were, I wasn't like as I was a big fan,
They
but I
streamed the
wasn't like
episodic ones. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, but yeah, like this we wouldn't have known, and like for instance, I had thought again, shout out to Chris. I didn't know. I thought they debuted that at the Gorge, and I thought they debuted like the "Don't Take My Sunshine" at the Gorge. Turns out they actually debuted it at summer camp in the Red Barn. And they played at Camp Bisco, and then the third time for "Don't Take My Sunshine" was at the Gorge. But in general, like that was the for a lot of the shit that we're hearing and started to hear in the Soundchip Space System era was like coming from that time.
Yeah. Yeah, so the song was rough back then. Like I'll be honest with you, like Sunspreads was a little rough when he debuted. I don't
Yeah,
know if again if it was
it
a
didn't
debut
really
when
do,
he
it didn't
played it.
really do it for me at that moment.
Yeah, I mean,
But
like I like the like we've been living in the dark point, but it was a little disconnected. And then to hear it in this set and like where it's come, and where it's evolved to is really cool. I think that song's really come a long way in the 8 years or so that he's been messing with it.
And I feel like a lot of times it's kind of they're very free and open with it. Like for instance, in San Francisco, it was like they were kind of just like it was almost like the fucking building was like gonna fall down because it was just like
Yeah,
and everyone was just like almost off, like not even on, like it was like Bourne was going like like and just
yeah.
like when people like slap the keys and stuff like that. It was kind of like, and the album was just like they had like almost like teardrop raindrops like with the lights coming down. It was the energy's crazy, but yeah, I just feel like they never play that. Like I don't think they ever play that less than 15 minutes.
No, it's not a quick song, that's for sure.
No.
But I really enjoyed where it's gotten, and that version of it I think is maybe one of my favorites yet.
Yeah. No, it was solid. And yeah, what really stuck out to me was the "Shine On You Crazy Diamond" in there.
Yeah. The shine
Dude,
bright like a diamond verse shine on
yeah,
you crazy diamond, and then
yeah,
it turns into a bass track. And I was like, what? Like so I'm not a huge bass music guy, but I like it in moderation, like little niblets of it, and that was exactly the amount I wanted and needed. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude, yeah. But the
mm-hmm,
shine, like Rihanna versus Pink Floyd, I was like, yes,
mm-hmm,
please, more of this.
yeah. And I will say, I actually do like that song by Rihanna.
I
Like
do too, dude. Rihanna's
it's
voice is
fire.
amazing. She's so talented. I mean, yeah, I don't know, what she's doing anymore because she's making makeup products or whatever. But like, yeah,
Yeah,
her voice is awesome, and she's got some
mm-hmm,
bangers. Her and
yeah.
Sia, man, Rihanna and
Well,
Sia.
actually,
Whew.
Sia made that song.
Oh, is that what it was?
Well, it's Sia Road. I mean,
Oh, wrote it.
uh,
Got you.
yeah. So like, someone, Benny Benazzi. I remember I
Yeah,
seen
Benny Benassi. Yeah.
is it or who's is it that music producer? Not Benny Benazzi.
Oh, Benny Blanco.
Blanco.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Someone asked him like who were like the like some in the studio best people ever, and like one of which was Sia, because he said like she wrote and performed or didn't. I think she just like one took everything and did diamonds in the studio, just like all the vocals and harmonies and everything like herself.
Yeah, dude, she's so talented. Love her.
Yeah.
Love Sia. Love Sia.
Yeah. Okay. So Omega Children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love
This
Omega
is the
Children.
number one most played of the new set of tracks, if I'm not mistaken. This tour alone has been the 10th time, and that's 10 out of 12 tour stops. 17th
Yeah.
time, 17th total going back.
I mean, I feel like it's the new fam anthem of like
It is.
of the new songs. I think it's a sing along, right? Like
Mhm.
you can all sing along to it, and it's just good vibes. And then he dropped more Lupe there with the Paris Tokyo line, fall in love in Chicago or whatever. So that was sick. I loved that. Yeah, I love Omega Children. It's just one of those songs. Like it's not my favorite, but like anytime it comes on, I'm having a great time singing along to it.
Yeah, I feel like Omega and Old Corolla are kind of like similar. Like not my favorite, but they're like I kind of call those sister songs. Like I feel like they line and they do. There have been times they play
Yeah,
them,
they have played them together,
side by side and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a nice tone setter, especially when they've opened up with that. It's not super hard. It's not.
Yeah, it's a
sappy
good
or
early
anything.
on first half of the set song. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
From there, we get Sunshine Coming Through, and I had totally forgot that this was split between the Hampton promo because they did Trip Through Time. It was like Sunshine Coming Through into Trip Through Time. And I totally forgot about that. But again, debuted at Hampton, 6 times tour, and just kind of a song that speaks to the vibes of the weekend for me. Like love is all around. I must be in a good place now. Yeah,
Yeah, great one.
this is the type of PL song I'd say you play for your aunts and uncles, and like they'd vibe. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Sunshine
mean,
coming through.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, and just like all that.
It's just a happy song. It's just
Yeah, exactly.
positivity. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, I don't feel like there's not much of the
It's definitely
electronic.
yeah. It's definitely non EDM friendly. Like people who
Yeah,
are
yeah,
not into that. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, for sure. Okay, and then we go ethereal, smooth operator, cool it
Fuck
down.
yeah, love that song, dude. I
My
love it.
God.
I'm so glad Ethereal has gotten its reprisal that it deserved
Hmm.
because there was something in that song. Like that melody is really cool. Those sounds are really cool, but the overall song was kind of it was for a video game. It just didn't really. It was so weird. Um, but that using it the way he uses it in that smooth operator, cool it down swirl is just like
Oh
yes,
yeah.
fuck yes. I love like that is the shit I like right there.
So see, he did it last year at San Francisco, and it was like ethereal and the expanding perspective
Yeah,
thing or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
And that was
That
like my
was
highlight of that weekend
heat.
too.
I was freaking out on my couch watching that. I was like, yeah, that was sick. So I'm glad he's been messing around with the ethereal and the smooth operator, cool it down thing, like the Sade or whatever. Like she's like sick. So yeah,
And it's obviously we know it debuted in Boston, but it was nice to see him spend more time on it,
yep,
given that it's been about like what 3 weeks since then or whatever. And Borum was really getting like on the keys and stuff like that. And it was, obviously Karn's chopping it up too. It was fucking
yeah. I
great.
literally put Borum solo was crazy. He was just very interactive. Borum was a lot of fun in Chicago, just period.
Yeah.
He was very high energy. His dancing on night two, which we'll get to,
Yeah.
was amazing. So yeah, I love, and I'm also on the rail right in front of him all the time because I go Borum side, and yeah, so he's a blast.
Oh, so you specifically do that?
Yeah, we did go Alvin side a couple times, but like I just feel like the drums are a little loud when you're on his side, and
Okay.
so like
Gotcha.
you
Damn.
like there were a couple times where like the kick drum or whatever kick snare whatever it is just it cuts through a lot, and I have like earplug, like I have nice earplugs, so it was they were too loud, so we kept going, so we switched to Borum side and preferred it over there just from a sound standpoint, and
I
then
also feel like it's probably a better view because you don't have this kit blocking
yeah, well,
you.
it's a
So
little less, but
you
he's
know,
got a lot of synths over there. So I mean, it's the same kind of thing. But we yeah, it's a great view, and Borum's just yelling at Borum all the time. He's funny. So he had what was that? Was it St. Augustine? I think it was St. Augustine, but it could be wrong. Or it could have been Boston. But he had like a mason jar of this red stuff that was put out, in his little drink area before the shows, and then he never touched it. And then by the end of the show, is like it would come out, and it was a bright red mason jar, and then by the end of the show, it'd be like this much water, and then the bright red stuff all just sank to the bottom, and like completely separated. And we were like, what is that? Like, what is it? So like finally night three, he like comes down and we're like, yo, we gotta know, like, what is that red drink that you're not drinking on stage? He's like, oh, it's just like watermelon like juice, but like, just like literally like watermelon and like that's it. And so he's like, that's why it's separating. We're like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been drinking it. We're like, okay, but it was just so because we were all like, what is this red? Like it looked like a health potion, like on the stage. Like I was like, what is this that you got? But it was just like, juiced watermelon, I guess.
I was to say maybe some grenadine in the
Yeah,
fucking,
I don't know. We were just like, I don't know, like why is it separating? What's going on? But yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like when I was at Tahoe, I was Alvin side, and like just kind of what I was saying before, like I couldn't really see Karn, so I
Hmm.
feel like from your vantage point, you could probably see Karn's a lot better. And obviously, you're getting, like you said, you're getting some of
Yeah,
he's
it
getting blocked
depends
from
on the
the side.
setup and how the stage is laid out. Because but yeah, it's a great view from over there for sure.
So then, more important than Michael Jordan, another
You
funny
forgot the
thing.
Wubba Lubba Dub Dub sample.
Oh
How can you
shit!
forget?
Okay.
I don't know why
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know where that came from. I'm a
yeah,
huge
yeah.
Rick and Morty fan, so I'm all for it. But it just is so random.
So I actually I probably should watch this show. I've seen like an episode too. It seems really
The
funny.
old seasons are good for sure. Yeah.
I remember here. I mean, because I actually made this video because so this guy, I'm sure you saw it, but like we talked to this dude before. I kind of did like a little interview thing and just asked him what song, because I've like wanted to do some of this stuff, like ask people what they want to hear, and if it hits, then you could like showcase that for them, and like it's a moment for them, and I throw little edits on it, like throw some effects on the video. But this guy's like friend was just had open heart surgery, and he like the smooth operator really spoke to him. He wanted to hear it again, and it played and all that stuff. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean it was cool. But I remember I was making that and editing that video, and I kept hearing that wubba dubba dub,
Yeah.
and I just like I don't know, I didn't even realize it until I actually saw it on the set listers, put it on there like Rick and Morty. But once you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, duh.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I love the show. My cat, I have two, well, I have three cats, but two of them are named Rick and Morty, so I'm a big fan
Oh, cool,
of
nice.
the show. But
So that hit for you then. You
yeah,
probably
and he
heard
had
that.
done it before. I think he did it in Boston or St. Augustine or one of
Oh,
them.
okay.
But it's just like so random. It was just like, okay,
All right. So more important than
yeah.
Michael Jordan.
I mean, you have to play that in Chicago,
I
obviously.
know, it's a guarantee. So
But yeah, it was like the funky horns at the start were really cool. Like I think it was cool because at the beginning they had like the funky horn samples, and at the same time, Borum was kind of playing the house chords on the synths that he does, and like the dun, dun, like house sort. So
mhm,
like that combo of the funky horns with
yeah.
the kind of more dancey synths was really cool.
Yeah. I really liked at one moment, it was like it kind of went bump bump, and it was almost like, not totally, but it was almost like it went just to drums a little bit. And it was almost like those in the PLI flip era thing. Like it was just like small, like maybe like
Yeah,
quick like 4 bar thing, or not even 4 bars, but um beat measure thing or something like that.
yeah,
But yeah, it was really cool. But funny thing was, we did, like I said, we gifted Chris the money, and like my buddy forgot to hit record the first time we did it, but the next time was very quick. But the first time I had asked Chris what he wanted to hear, and he's like, I want to hear more important, but like swirl the fuck out. I'm talking like 30 minutes. And like, so then he sends me that meme later where it's just like, the guy with the gun up behind the dude's head, like it was
yeah.
a swirl the whole
Yeah, yeah.
time.
You're telling me this has been more important than Michael Jordan the whole
Yeah,
time? Yeah,
yeah,
always
yeah,
has
yeah.
been.
Uh, and what was also fitting was that was my 45th show, the other Michael Jordan number, and like it
Mm,
was just fitting that they hit that
yeah,
for it.
that was
So
sick. I mean, it was full on party lights at that point. Like that's when we hit the
yeah,
next gear. Like it's like sugar sample, the genie in the bottle
yeah,
versus get on up versus
hmm
a whole new world versus big room house. I was just like, what is happening? Like he was just throwing
yeah,
it all at us in that
oh
swirl.
yeah,
It was
oh it was unreal.
crazy. Yeah.
It's funny too. Yeah, I was like with Lance Rustify at the time, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay up here until the song's over, and then I hear Hot Like Sauce. I'm like, all right, that's my cue. And then I go to, and then we go through, and it's like, so we get the Hot Like Sauce, of course, the sponges. That shit never gets old, and I love that bass, that doom doom doom, on there. But and then when it hits later, I'm like, oh fuck, we were in it the whole time. So
Yeah.
it was just fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and like just reminds me of like another thing about like what I love about going to the Pretty Lights shows is like, we have I have my group that I go with, but we always end up meeting new people, and like there'll be people who are like solo or whatever, and so they're just like see us and they get our vibe and they're like, okay, and they hang out with us for the show or whatever, and we kind of make friends with them. And so there was a guy like that we met in, I think it was Boston, and his name's like Marvin, and he was like super cool dude, great ball energy. He partied with us while we were there, and then he was here in Chicago. He comes up to us on night one, and he's dressed up as Aladdin.
Oh
And
no
yeah,
shit.
like
And then
just
they do.
straight up, yeah, just
Oh
straight up dress up as Aladdin, and we're like, oh shit, dude, like, and then good to see you. And then like, yeah, and then they play the Aladdin sample, and we just all look at each other and go, Marvin. Like, I don't know, I don't think he was with us when that sample dropped. I think he was somewhere else in the crowd, but like, it was just so dope that they were playing, a whole new world, and there's a guy dressed up in the crowd walking around as Aladdin. Like that shit's awesome. So,
yeah, that's
I
hilarious. I'm
love like
sure
little things like that.
if you see something like that, everyone around is just gonna go, "Oh my god!" Yeah,
Yeah,
it's funny.
yeah.
And then okay, so yeah, like I said, Hot Like Sauce, and then after Midnight Bump and Hustle. I mean,
Well,
I'll
wait.
be honest.
You can't just skip over hot like sauce like that. What?
Well, okay, sorry, my bad. I didn't know if you had anything else to add on.
I mean,
But
just
yeah,
I
I mean
really
that's
like
what.
that Sponges remix
Yeah,
of it.
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really cool. I like the sample. That's like it's like a book
we go to
elegantly bound
Chicago.
in a language that you can't read or whatever. That sample is really sick. They dropped Missy in there with the "I'm Really Really Hot," which they've been doing with Hot Like Sauce a lot. Um, then here's the thing that I wanted to bring up, which is something that I will find out because these are one of these things I'll find out. But did you hear the Discord notification sounds that went off during Hot Lake Sauce? So if you
No.
listen, and I heard it while I was at the show.
Okay. Well, I was listening the other day, and sometimes I'm like, because I don't like when that noise is on my computer and stuff. So,
Yeah.
because for instance, I think I had it. I was doing a podcast in Vegas, and I had them going off on there. So I constantly am trying to like put my shit on do not disturb, and then like I was doing the notes the other day, and I thought I heard that go off, and I
Yeah.
checked Discord. And I did, yeah.
You
Okay.
did.
Wow.
So there are, I think
But I
it's,
didn't hear the show, obviously.
yeah. So I heard it at the show and it tripped me out because I was like, did I just hear the Discord sound? So then I got home when I watched it after the show. I was like, yeah, that's it. So then I messaged,
Wow.
I was being dumb and tired and I messaged Vis and I was like, did you record, like, is that in your recording? Or, and he's like, no, they play that. And I was like, yeah, I swear I heard it at the show. So yeah, there's like 4 or 5 Discord notifications that happen
Wow.
in a couple minutes in Hot Like Sauce. And we were kind of talking about on Discord, some people thought it was in this one sample that Carnes was playing at the time, but then like we looked into it and it wasn't in that sample. So I don't know if it was done as like them inserting noises like they do, like, cause like the wubba lubba dub dub, or like when they do the Taco Bell ding during I Know the Truth. I don't know if you've heard that one before, but like they
No,
literally,
no.
if you listen to a couple of the recent I Know the Truth, when the drops, they do the Taco Bell gong at the
Wow.
bong. Yeah,
Did they do that
listen to
post
that.
Vegas?
Yeah, they did it in Vegas. Listen to I
Oh,
Know
okay.
the
Because it's
Truth.
funny because
Yeah.
that's when is that the first time they did it?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say because all the Derek
Yeah.
shit where he was talking about Taco Bell and shit like
Yeah.
that.
PD and the other Discord fam will be disappointed in the fact that I don't know when they first did that because they all went crazy because Taco Bell and Baja Blast and stuff are like a meme on the Discord. But yeah, so the fact that that sound was in there, who knows? Like, I'm genuinely curious if someone played it on purpose or if like Derek left Discord open on his computer that he's running
Oh
the show
shit.
from and like someone
Yeah.
started DMing him or something. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
So I want to get that
Yeah.
answer. If I find time to ask Derek a question next tour or whatever, I'll be like, hey, so
Well,
when
there you
that
go.
Discord sample played, if I will not because I'll freak out when I get near him.
Well,
But
yeah. I was gonna say back to our conversation
yeah,
earlier.
exactly. Like
That'll be something to see.
yeah, I'll lock up. But it was really interesting. So I don't know. That's a good Easter egg that we need to find out the answer for. Is like, where did those Discord noises come from and why?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So,
Yeah,
all right,
sorry.
yeah. My bad for skipping. I thought.
No, I just had to get to the Discord stuff because I needed.
No,
to
you're
know.
right. I mean, yeah, I'm glad you did. So yeah, all right. Then we got the after midnight bump and hustle, and it was the after midnight tease. And I'll be honest, I was like kind of confused at first because I was like, wait, why are they doing that tonight? I thought we were gonna get that tomorrow.
Same. Well, so Derek played it at Dylan last year, I believe. And I think the Dylan shows, I think it was Dylan, had to end at like 10 p.m. or whatever it was. So he was like on the mic, like, I'm playing after midnight at like 9 p.m. or whatever. Like he was like, like laughing about it. So then I was like, man, he's such a troll. He's playing after midnight at 11 p.m. the day before New Year's. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love Bump and Hustle. So like that was sick. I thought that was awesome. And then of course, obviously, like reprising More Important Than Michael Jordan after that was sick.
And a real nice transition into how can you lose?
Yeah. Yep.
9th time played. Every stop since the debut at Red Rocks, night 2. Obviously, this is I think one of Derek's favorite ones. I think it's
one
very
of mine.
Personal.
It's one of my
it
favorites.
Is fire.
Yeah.
And I totally didn't even like. It's kind of one of those things. Each time I hear it, like something else sticks out to me. But like in Chicago, I don't know. Like it's almost like that, like little ding, 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 ding. I don't know. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
yes, I love that. Like the little crystal noises. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
I
Oh,
love that part. I love the searching. Like that sample is sick. And I love that
and
that
obviously
turned into
knocking on
urchin
heaven's
memes.
door.
Yeah, the knocking on heaven's door, and then Michael was just crushing it on the guitar for that song.
Oh, the guitar picking.
Yeah, I he was on fire. I love the confidence that he's grown with the guitar over the last
Mhm.
2 years. I really want more of that from him. He has the
Mhm.
talent.
Yeah.
He's done some really cool things with it, and ultimately, it's not like we need him to be this crazy solo guitarist that's doing like these crazy things. But what he adds with the guitar has been awesome. So I really, if he ever, for some reason, is watching this, I hope he, plays more with the guitar in the future because he's really talented and it really adds a good layer to the overall composition.
Yeah, I mean, he's not Krasno, and which is totally fine. You know,
Yeah,
it's totally two different things. But yeah, I think it's it's definitely kind of refreshing, even though it's more simplified sometimes. But it's kind of just it's funny. I saw him say one time, like I think people were saying shit. He's like, "Look, dude, I'm not." He doesn't even consider himself a guitarist. He's like, "I'm not a soloist, and these beautiful songs don't need to be over clouded by that." Like, I'm kind of like essentially saying like adding little elements and letting it breathe more than like overtaking it and trying to like
right.
take over.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, the band walks off. We get an encore, and then another second time plays from Boston. The Dream on Objects in the Mirror.
Yep. With Mac
Take it
Miller.
away on
Yeah.
that one. You a big Mac Miller fan?
No, never have been.
No. Okay.
I think I've come to appreciate him more because of Pretty Lights
Mm-hmm.
using him so
Yeah.
much. Um, but no, I never really listened to him back in the day. But
Gotcha.
I've definitely grown um, to like his music more because of Pretty Lights playing it, and I've gone and listened to some of his stuff
Yeah.
um, because of that. And then obviously the new album's supposed to be coming out of some of this unreleased stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, RIP. Definitely gone too soon, but I really like the way Pretty Lights has been incorporating Mac Miller into his stuff. That Blue World song is dope. Though there's like that.
That feel was dope
That's
and
yeah,
fucking.
yeah. That was sick. So I really like that.
And I mean, yeah, if you haven't, the swimming album, the one he released right before he had passed, was really good.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, check out What's to Use. It's a great song, and check out 2009. It's kind of a little more like sad, like violent stuff, but still really good. And just a lot of he's going through a lot of shit. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and just they played the Grizz Vibe Vendetta remix in
Yes,
there,
they
right?
did. Yeah,
That
not
was
many people caught it. It was a
yeah,
little Vibe Vendetta Grizz remix
yeah.
tease in the because it went from that Mac Miller Daydream or Aerosmith's into like what I just put as cyberpunk banger. I don't know what it was, but it was it just turned into some cybery EDM there, and then if you think you got soul, bring it on over is sick,
Mm-hmm.
and then then they did that Vibe Vendetta Grizz tease, which I was like, oh, okay, all right, I see you, I hear you. But
That was dope.
that was sick, and then
Which real quick is that the Point Cloud? Is that what right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
that
you guys,
3D
I mean,
space.
I don't know if it was you
It was
specifically, but
not.
they started using the
Yes,
fans in there,
so
which is sick
it
as fuck.
it was St. Augustine was the first place they did it. So they took one of those connect cameras that they have on each of the band members, and they put it on the front row of the rail.
Oh, cool.
And it's been on different sides. It was on like the right side in St. Augustine, and then it was on the left side in Chicago. I think it was on the left side in Boston too. But what they did for the first time in Chicago is they made a whole rail out of it. So it's like the camera is only got a field of view to get like 4 or 5 people on rail in it. And then they duplicated those 4 or 5 people like 4 times. So it
Oh, cool.
looked like a full rail. But if you
Mhm.
watch, it's the same 4 dudes. It's like Justin
Oh,
Balboa and like a couple other people. And it's like those 4 dudes just copy and pasted. So like when I was talking Tonks or Nick, who works on the stream after night one. I was like, hey, so I saw you guys like copy paste. He's like, yeah, I wondered if anyone was gonna like notice that I was like, yeah, I could tell you were copying and pasting those people. He's like, well, yeah, well, we're working on ways to like get it to blend a little bit better. But yeah, so they're definitely trying new stuff all the time. Really like that they incorporated that into the point cloud. I think it adds a cool layer.
I love that
The
shit.
point cloud is just so cool. What they did, one thing they did in the stream, in the Chicago stream, I forget which night or what time, but like they had the guy with the camera on the stage, and then they had the guy, the virtual drone in the virtual space in the point cloud, right? And they were in the same view doing the same thing. So like as the guy was panning across live on the stage, they then cut to the digital version at the exact same angle in the exact same pan, but to the digital space. So they were going from reality to the digital world, but from the exact same angle, exact same point of view, exact same movement. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? This is so cool. Like they're this coordinated live, like in doing stuff that no one else is doing.
Who the fuck is doing that shit?
It's
Who the
so
fuck?
cool.
I mean,
It's so cool. Yeah.
anyone out there who, okay, you might not like pretty lights music, you gotta have respect for all that.
No, totally.
I mean, that's,
yeah.
you know.
No, I mean, I showed my parents some of this stuff, and they're like, "This is performance art. Like, this goes beyond a concert. This is like a whole thing." I'm like, "Yeah, it's crazy." So the crew is just so cool, man, and they're all like, they're all freed up to try new stuff, and that's what's so cool. It's awesome.
Didn't it kind of go through the crowd at one point too? I feel like it was, or maybe I don't know. I thought maybe they geared it, maybe they did more of what you're talking about, but I thought it like passed through.
It may
the crowd.
have, but like the Connect camera only goes like gets the rail and like the people right behind it. It's not like the full crowd. You know what I mean? The camera's limited in its like field of view. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, either way, yeah, I
So
love
cool.
it. Back to that too. I feel like they were. It wasn't the dots, but it was like Carnes was like almost like block.
Oh
like,
yeah. They did that.
Almost like 8-bit, but like not really.
Yeah, like
you know
built
what I mean?
out of like Legos almost. Or, like,
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And like it just fucking keeps evolving. It's so sick. And then from there we get at Last Time Free and the Block Rock and Beats, and just over 17 minutes between these two for an encore. I mean, what else could you really want?
No, it was sick. I love the sing along of it Last Time Free ever since they did that at Red Rocks 2018, the last Red Rocks. It's been sick. And then ending it with the "What Are You Doing New Year's Eve" sample was just the best way to end night one. And I was just like, all right, that was a perfect pre-light set. I'm good.
Yeah. Real quick, while we're on Last Time Free, did you notice in Augustine the John Batiste Freedom sample?
I did not. No.
You know who John Batiste is?
Yeah.
And you know,
Alvin plays in
like,
his band.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he won all those. I remember seeing him on the Grammys, and he played that song "Freedom" is very super.
I'll have to
sick.
go back and look at that. Yeah.
But yeah, it just goes freedom. Yeah, it's just cool.
Yeah, John Baptiste, super talented dude.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, he used to be like a Co-Bears dude, right?
Yeah. You ever see him do that Beethoven? But he plays Beethoven gospel, and then he plays it bluesy, and then
no.
It's if you get a chance and you remember one day, look up John Batiste doing Mozart, but in all these different, like, you know, I think he does 3 different versions, like gospel, blues, and something else.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I love like talented musicians doing stuff like that. Have you seen T-Pain's covers?
Dude, amazing.
Dude,
amazing.
Black Sabbath and stuff. I'm like, he's just so good. Oh my god.
I really like when artists do really sick like renditions on stuff, and that, I mean, yeah,
I like when they step out of their genre or step out of their normal sound and just show off how talented they are.
And that's true. That's like people who have a true passion for like doing it. You know, like I remember T-Pain saying on that thing, he's like, you know, I played all these shows, and you know, for like in big arenas and stadiums and stuff like that. But like he's this show right here. I'm connected. I'm looking at you in your face. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I'm playing all these. He's playing Sam Cooke. Change is gonna come. And I mean, dude. And when I was young, I used to hate on some shit. I'm like, T-Pain's just
Oh yeah,
auto-tune.
auto tune. Yeah, we all hated on auto tune. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's an amazing singer.
So
I mean, it
good.
was,
Yeah, he's a chill
yeah,
dude too.
yeah. He'd be someone I feel like he would just chop it up with you and
Oh
not
yeah,
be like a douchebag.
100%.
Standout moment of that set for you?
There's a lot. I mean, Shine Bright Like a Diamond and Shine On You Crazy Diamond bass part was probably my like most unique, like, okay, blew me out of the water moment. But the more important than Michael Jordan hot like sauce sandwich was just delicious.
Yeah. What'd you do after the show? Do you hit after parties a lot?
No. And we used to back in the day, and then as we got like older, we would buy the after party tickets and then just want to go to the hotel or the Airbnb, and so we'd buy them and just give them away, and so then we're like, all right, we got to stop buying them. And yeah, so our thing is we just go back and rewatch the set, and party, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I said it before, I'm still up late, but I like I like to be in the spot and just get cozy.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. We all get back, we change. While everyone's changing, I'm on my laptop downloading, uploading, getting the set prepared for everyone. Then we put it on and we just hang out until we rewatch the whole set. And then that's normally like 4 a.m. when that's over or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we go to bed or stay up or whatever. But yeah, that's our thing. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm over after.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to be a pretty lights. Like Derek would have to be at the after playing for me to be there.
And no disrespect, I love break sign, I love all that stuff, but it's just it's just a matter of energy, time, and money.
Yep.
And again, like you said, you're still up late, but like I can get a handful of hours of sleep in and not feel like complete
trash.
trash.
And you can eat food, and you can I mean, yeah. So yeah, that's our style. That's what we do now, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh, I love it. I love getting old. It's great.
But yeah, that's how I end up getting the setup so quick. Everyone's like, how do you get the setup so quick? It's like, well, we go back to our Airbnb and we chill afterwards. Like, well, I mean, chill is relative. Everyone's partying, but
it's chill compared to.
I'm drinking straight out of the tequila bottle, but we're chilling.
Right on. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Night 2. I mean, I take it same routine for you. Wake up, go early, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we got there like an hour later. Because everything started an hour later, and it was freaking cold the second night standing in that line. Boston was actually colder than Chicago though, we got really, really lucky with the weather in Chicago, because right now it's like 15 degrees outside. So standing in that line would have been horrible.
Yeah, I mean, and for me coming home, I was worried, but it was because this time of year or in December, it can be okay and it can be bad.
Yeah. I mean, I had to bust out the hot hands for my shoes night 2, but that was as bad as it got because I didn't have good footwear. But no, it wasn't bad. We made do. Also, like, there were all the hotels nearby, a bunch of restaurants and stuff. So if you needed to like go get food or like go warm up somewhere, all you had to do is walk over to Harold's Chicken. That place was so hot, it was warmed me up real quick.
Right on. Perfect. All right. Well, yeah. So let's get into night 2.
Yeah. I mean, big bust out to start it out.
Yeah, I can't contain it, dude.
Yeah.
That's so first time played this era, and the last was you were there in at the Fillmore in Detroit on December 28th, 2017.
I remember it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not much to say other than I feel like it wasn't too long. Just kind of open with that, but followed by Silver Dollar, I believe they're calling this one, right? It says new on some places. It says Silver Dollar on others.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. Yeah, I just said like chill guitar vibes into bassiness. Yeah, not sure what it was, but I was into it.
Yeah, the TI, whatever you like, but what really stuck out to me was the Fire by Jimi Hendrix and I didn't realize at the time, but then the Cupid's Chokehold, Gym Class here, that da 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 da.
Mm,
Yeah, that was nice. And I didn't know the song. I just kind of looked it up. I either found it on the Discord or just like kind of sometimes I'll just type in lyrics and be
yeah,
like, what
yeah,
song
yeah.
is this? But it was like No 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 by Don Penn, just kind of some older like I don't know soulful stuff. And then yeah, okay, that's okay. I found it there because I said shout out to Discord set listers
Mm,
for getting us that shit. But
yeah, they are great.
yeah, no, I mean, again, shout out to everyone in the community. Like I posted a thing the other day. You got these up. Chris has that. I just all these resources that help me, make this show much better.
Yeah, no, and I think like one thing I would want to say if anyone is actually going to watch this is, like none of us like we're not connected to like the band. We're not part of the crew. Like we're just people who love this shit and find a way to contribute and do it, And
Yeah,
so like I would encourage anyone in the fam, like if you're thinking about doing something, just do it. Like no one is like getting like you don't need a connection to
yeah,
make a podcast. You don't need a connection to do a YouTube channel. Like if there's something you want to do to contribute to the community that is Pretty Lights, do it. Whether it's making stickers or contributing to the set list sample, discovery, like whatever it is, like whatever floats your boat, whatever you're into, like do it. Like YouTube
yeah,
for me, like I love data. It's I work in digital marketing as my career, so it's like right kind of in my alley of stuff that I do, and so it just is like was a way that I could contribute, and it was something I knew and something that inspired me. So I would just encourage anyone out there, like don't feel like anyone in this community is doing something because like the crew is asking them. It's like no, they just started doing it because they wanted to, or they thought like, hey, why is no one doing this yet, or why doesn't it like Pretty Nights, why doesn't this exist yet? And he just built it because that's what he does. Those are the skills he has. So find a way to like take your skills that you already have, or do whatever, and use that to contribute. Don't feel like you can't.
yeah. And I'll touch on that. I mean, I've wanted to do something like this for a minute, and like, and even doing it, it was nerve wracking and scary, dude. And I have these voices in my head that literally I tell myself like people are gonna think this is dumb or like whatever, and I'd like just it's kind of been a wild like 4 months or so that we've been doing it, and it's just like it's kind of nice to see that okay, people actually do like this, and like I'm a lot of kind words and stuff. So yeah, I mean to anyone, just if you got and I've had these feelings in my just in general of like my I just working jobs that I know that I'm not like it's just I don't know. I'll touch more later as we get towards the end, but yeah, like I really feel like I don't know, I'm kind of like meant to do this stuff. I really like it's just so fun and fulfilling, and it's just yeah. I mean, and now I feel like I'm kind of I'm contributing and putting my part out there, and it just feels really good.
Yeah.
So again, to anyone who else who's out there who's just don't second guess shit. Like no one's gonna be like this is like the nicest fan base out there, and
Yeah, and look, there's gonna be haters. Like
yeah,
no
and
matter
just
what you
don't
do, like you
yeah,
just can't, you
literally
can't, you can't pay them any mind. Like literally,
yeah.
all I'm doing is uploading files to YouTube, and there's people who like hate on me for it,
Oh,
and
I
it's
know,
like,
I know about that.
yeah, oh, yeah, I'm not gonna get into it, but
I
like,
know. We're not gonna, but
it's just like, why, like, so like when that happened, I was just kind of like, look, man, you're gonna get haters doing whatever. If you get haters
exactly.
uploading a file to YouTube after a show, and that's all you do,
Mhm.
like, you're gonna get haters no matter what you try and do. So just do what makes you happy, contribute, just do it, man. Like, who cares? Fuck the haters. It's whatever. Like if Derek listened to every negative comment, we would not be where we
Oh,
are
never.
today. He would not be playing music anymore.
And he's one that he doesn't give a fuck. Like all this time, he's done shit and saw his side and been like, not cared. But yeah, I mean, it's you almost need them, and if you have them, that means you're doing something. And you're catching
True.
attention. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah, I mean, thanks for saying that because yeah, I mean, it's like I've definitely felt that recently. So but yeah,
Hey man, you guys got called out in the credits after the show. You guys are legit. You got legitimized. So
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
We'll get there
Yeah,
later. But
sorry,
yeah,
spoiled.
no, you're good. I mean, yeah, no, that was big, man.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
okay, so then ask your friends if you got anything on this. I mean,
I just said standard. It was a standard ask your
yeah,
friends.
yeah,
I don't think there was anything going on there. It was like, so to contrast night one and night two, I felt like there was no song in night one where I was like, that was just a standard ask your
yeah,
friends. But on night two,
exactly.
I think that was just a standard ask your friends. And there's
Uh-huh.
maybe nothing wrong with that, but that's why I think night one just musically was a little bit better.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we go time to build a home.
Yeah, with the breathwork intro, which was a theme. Breathwork was a theme.
Yeah, and he goes, we're trying to bring the timelines into a coalescence of sorts so we can build a home that we never imagined. Chicago, are you breathing? Are you sipping from the fountain? Yeah, let's talk about that. And then breathe in, breathe out. So say it all the time. I love Derek banter,
I
like shit
love
like that on
Derek
stage.
Banter. Yeah, dude.
Oh, it's fucking
I'm
great.
still working on my trajectory. I'm trekking my vector. I love Derek talk. Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I love the breath work. Like, I don't do breath work in my personal life, but I do enjoy like um, getting everyone to enjoy the moment, like kind of ground themselves. I appreciate those things, and time to build a home. I mean, like, I went and listened to the song that the main lyrics come from for that, and it's about like a homeless person. You know what I mean? It's like a really
Oh, wow.
sad song. Like,
Yeah.
it's about homelessness, and like it's a sad song. So there's some meaning to building that home, both physical homes and emotional homes and spiritual
Yeah.
homes. So I love the message behind it.
Yeah. Also, did you catch him looking at the screen and then winking at the
Yes,
crowd?
yes,
Dude,
yeah,
that was so
yeah.
dope. Oh,
He's such a goober. I love him.
he's just
And
such a G, man.
yeah, and then Borum on this song played what we've called the bubble synths. So they kind of sound like bubbles popping, or like bubbles getting, blown up or popped or whatever. My wife and one of our friends, Kelly, like love those bubble synths. So it was good to hear him play those on Time to Build a Home, and then Karn's solo on Time to Build a Home was sick. I love a good Karn solo.
Yeah, this is 14 minutes, just over 14 minutes. Love it. I mean, yeah, and I think right after I forgot to add, he right after he does like the breathe in, breathe out, and then he's like, he encourages us all to remember to do that to the music, even when they're not talking
Yeah.
about it. So, and then that's kind of just like almost like the crowd as in unison being like together and like kind of like going to the beat, and instead of, obviously he's not gonna, like, that's kind of a deeper side of, how people be like, all right, now clap.
Yeah.
Instead of that, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
feel it, what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah, I still haven't
so,
gotten good at doing it with on my own in the middle of a show, but I need him to tell me.
yeah, again, it's cool that it's just like they dive deeper to these things that, there's all these little typical things that, stage presence people do and say, and like this is just, again, in every aspect they go beyond and they go deeper. So
Yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah, same.
And then we go to Road to the Stars.
With the saxophone.
Yeah,
With the
dude.
saxophone on Road to the Stars. So I don't know, was that Dom from Red Rocks, or was that a different
No, because
saxophone song?
it had to be different because Dom
He
did
didn't do Road to the
I Guess
Stars.
in Your Face, the move, Get a Move On, and Look Both Ways at Red Rock.
Oh,
So
okay.
those are the only
Those
three
are the
songs
ones
that
he
he
was
did
on.
there.
Okay. Yeah, it was some saxophone. It was some sexy saxophone on the Road to the Stars, so I was into it.
That was nice.
Yeah, and then
and the Daft Punk content in there too.
Daft Punk. Okay, so Daft Punk is like one of my favorite artists of all time. Period. Like, my first dance at my wedding was to a Daft Punk song. So Daft Punk is just awesome. And then Random Access Memories is such a sick album that people
And it beat
sleep
Color
on.
Map.
Yes, it did. And it deserved to.
Rightfully
I'm sorry.
so,
I'm sorry.
I mean,
It deserved to. It was a sick album. He was never gonna beat Daft Punk.
yeah, and I mean, just based on who Daft
Yeah,
Punk is and
right. And
everything,
like
and it's
the
hard to.
scale of things, the scale of Daft Punk is way different than
Yeah.
Pretty Lights in terms of mainstream popularity. But Contact is such a good song. I think beyond just playing Daft Punk and playing Contact, which is one that you don't hear. I've never heard anyone play Contact at a live show ever. Not even Daft Punk, R.I.P. But you know, what I really like about it is it's one of these building songs that the band really builds with, and it just gets epic and epic and like epic. I think like I put it in the same realm as like when they played that Interstellar track in Boston or San Francisco or St. Augustine, whichever it was recently. Like those songs that just kind of progressively crescendo and the band just and the energy just it feels so good. I love that.
It's crazy when we all first heard it the first time, and when he like did that vocal, and again, like we talked about before, the autotune totally reminds me of Daft Punk, you know, and just again, and then when he says become a pretty light again, and like obviously everyone always cheers at that moment, and it's just like it never gets old, and it's just crazy how, yeah, I mean, you never would have thought not only Pretty Us would be playing all this house stuff and doing all this extra shit, but then you never really would have thought that he'd actually like have like vocal like parts.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like legit parts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
No, I wish he would do it more, honestly. I think there were a couple shows where he did it a little bit more, maybe like Reno, or not Reno, Tahoe, same thing.
yeah.
Maybe there he was on the mic a little bit more. I can't remember, but he's done some more because like there's the Arc of Time or Arc of Light or whatever it is. And then I really like on Solar Sailor when he sang the I'm an alien, not a human being.
Oh
When he was
yeah,
singing that
the
sample,
Oliver Tree shit or
yeah,
whatever.
dude,
Yeah,
banger.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah. Really
love that
good.
ad to Solar Sailor. Solar Sailor is a favorite, obviously Daft Punk fan,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways, I digress.
You remember, speaking of, you remember the recordings at Red Box 14, and like you could hear those kids talking the whole time,
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the Daft Punk remix. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Oh,
don't
it's
miss the
so
days of
funny.
the low quality
Oh fuck
recordings,
no!
but
Remember that? You go there. You got a
yeah, I
school
think
there. Like I just those.
Connor recorded those, I believe. I don't think he's active in the family anymore, but yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So then from there, chasing rainbows.
Yep, with the loving you is easy or whatever. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Loving that shit, and you know, obviously the Kermit
Yeah,
Rainbow
Rainbow
Connection
Connection.
was
Yeah,
great too. It's
yep.
awesome. I take it you were born 88 because your email had 88 in
Hmm.
there. Okay,
Yeah,
so I was born 91. But you did you have Reading Rainbow as a kid?
yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah,
you remember
yeah.
that
Oh
shit?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that hits for all of
Yes.
us.
When they first played that, I was like,
Late 80s,
they're
early
playing the
90s.
Reading Rainbow song.
I
Ah!
know, dude.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah.
yeah, that's
No,
great.
I love the whole rainbow swirl, and then I mean, into World is a Cinnabon, man. How can you go wrong?
World is a cinema. That's
Cinnabon, yeah. Have you seen
hilarious.
those stickers? So it's like a
No,
Cinnabon, and this world is a Cinnabon because like
no,
it
that's
kind of
great.
sounds like that if you like
Yeah,
aren't
yeah,
really knowing
yeah.
what it is. But
That's hilarious.
yeah,
But dude, that with In the Air Tonight, and then going, well, I mean, that's obviously those two have been tied together since Red Rocks,
right.
but when they did Finally Moving with that, and then Etta James and fucking
Mm-hmm.
Phil Collins faces, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh
That was yeah. Best implementation of the scratching in the videos, like combined there. That was the best
yeah,
iteration of that, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just like a nice set closer, like the lights were flat, like just a big production, like really
Yeah,
fucking
great way to end the set, and also the proper amount of finally moving because
yeah, yeah,
I'm good. I've heard it,
yeah.
so
Okay.
give me
Okay.
a little bit of it. That's good.
Respect.
I don't need
You
to
know
hear the whole
what
thing.
though? Yeah, and I like look, I get it. I love all Pretty Light songs, but yeah, like it was refreshing that they didn't play it from Red Rocks until Minnesota.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it was
it
nice.
was nice. I don't think Derek enjoys playing it that much. Like I've never. I think he's over it. So I really like how he incorporated it there. I think that was
Yeah,
perfect.
no, that was perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, that was like I'll take that all
yeah,
day. But yeah, when it's just like, especially when it's like the last song, it's like let's all sing together, and
yeah,
I'm like, okay, the show's ending,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so yeah, I like being kept on my toes a little more, and
They have done a couple cool things. There was another stop earlier this tour
I
where
mean,
they
they
did
have for
something
sure.
different with it. I can't remember exactly what,
I'm
but
more I'm more so speaking to my take on it before the hiatus when it was just like, okay,
Yeah,
here it
yeah, yeah, yeah,
comes, like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's
Yep.
over, and just
And it is my number
uh,
one heard song at all at shows. So thanks to Pretty Nights, I know that.
yeah.
So yeah,
I thought it would have been mine, but I guess it's I Can See It in Your Face, but
mine was I Can See It in Your Face until this last tour because they haven't played it as much.
no, so that's what I really liked about Tahoe is that you didn't have that, you didn't have Finally Moving, you didn't. I mean, I don't know what else I'm missing. I know they played I Know the Truth, but like there was a like it was
Yeah,
for
Tahoe was
me that
good.
was kind of like what I've been chasing my whole fucking time of seeing Pretty Lights was just like give me like get all those songs out of there and just hit me with some shit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I respect that.
cool, right on. So that was the end of the set. What's your favorite moment from that?
I mean, Can't Contain It is such a deep cut that's got to be up there, but not Contact. I just Contact. Give me more of that. I could hear that every show for a year, and I'd be cool with it.
The Hidden Shades are quite literally living by their fucking name these days. I feel like, you know.
Yeah, quite hidden. The
Yeah.
Forgotten Shades.
All right. Well, yeah, set two. So, bro, I mean, us Chicago
I
kids,
mean, yeah.
this hits so hard. I
You
mean,
knew
dude,
we were gonna get it, and they did it at the perfect time.
I know, but like the starting lineup,
Yeah. I was
dude,
waiting
that
for
was
him to like be real about it and be like 6 foot
like,
two coming
yeah, I
from
know.
New Orleans, but no, he was like more
Yeah.
so doing the Derek version of that, which was like the
Yeah.
vector
Like,
checker
yeah. I know. How does he
extraordinaire.
think of all these? How does he think of all these words
Oh my
like
god,
supplying us with the
he's got like a
interdimension action of the
thesaurus
fucking?
on the table
I
up
know,
there.
dude. Yeah. Oh, I know. He's like his articulation with some of this shit is just like I would have never thought of that, but yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
that's a
dude is an
perfect way
artist,
to.
just a pure artist. He doesn't think like the rest of us do. You know, he's wired differently, and thank God for it.
Yeah, and like you said, I'm actually happy that he did it that way because he put his own spin on it. But I was kind of, you know how like the announcer goes,
Yeah,
they're like screaming,
yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
just yeah,
I was kind
and
of
then
expecting that too. Yeah,
yeah. I almost was gonna think if he was gonna start to say like where Bourne went to like music
yeah.
school and shit like that
That would have been funny.
would have been
Yeah, it
funny.
was
But yeah,
very on
obviously,
brand though for Derek.
no, it was great. And I mean, the colors of like them on stage, like you know, just the red and black or like red and white on there was like really sick. Just yeah, I loved it. So yeah, I mean, again, just as Chicagoland kids, I mean, us growing up with the Bulls, you know, I kind of partially wish I was older to appreciate it at that time, but you know, all things happen for a reason,
Yeah,
and you
same.
know,
Yeah,
for that reason, we're here enjoying Pretty Lights in
no,
this, you
totally.
know, moment in time and space. So, okay, holographic light computer. I believe in miracles. So, did they? This was a sound check jam, but I thought they played this in Augustine, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they did. Yep. So
So I tried going back and finding it, and it's like not. I don't know. Maybe it's like because I know
was it St.
The
Augustine?
SoundCloud. I know the SoundCloud and I know the SoundCloud and the PL Live website are different. I actually just found that out. I
Mm,
didn't. They're ran by two different, totally different
yes.
people.
Yep.
Did
Yeah.
you know that?
Yeah. The SoundCloud is Brandon Wraithmeyer. Yeah, he's awesome. Shout
Yeah,
out
he's cool as
Brandon.
fuck.
Love
I love
Brandon.
his pins.
Oh, his pins from back in the day are sick, and he's just
The
a
band pins are the
dope dude.
sickest
He's
fucking
just
pins.
chill. He comes up like he'll be on rail with us. Sometimes with him and Molly, his girlfriend or partner. They're just the two of them are just beautiful lights. That I love them. Yeah. I don't know. It definitely was. It was either Boston or St. Augustine, I think, where this song got debuted. And yeah, I mean, essentially they were like, oh, you know, he eventually said like, oh, we were messing around with this on sound check, and now we're gonna play it for you guys, kind of thing. Um,
Well, you know what's weird? Pretty Nice has it that they debuted it at the fucking New Hampshire Episodic Festival. So that can't be
no, that
right.
can't be right. No,
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
way newer than that. But anyways, so they played it once before, and then so like the story of like the VIP sound check thing, that was a trip. So we got in early to get our spots on rail on the second night, and we get in, and like I'm so hyper focused on like get the spot for rail. I need like 5 people space. They're all with me in VIP, but they're behind me. You know, I'm the first one through. So I'm like getting the space locked down, and then I look up and the whole band is on the stage, and I was like,
So that doesn't normally
no,
happen.
they're never on the stage when we
Wow.
get led up to the rail. Like that's not
So they
allowed.
do their sound checks before,
Yeah, and like
right?
sometimes like when depending on the setup, like we can hear them like in line sound checking, so we
Yeah.
know like what they're sound checking. But yeah, so we get in there and they're already up on stage. I'm like, wait, what the fuck am I tripping? And I wasn't tripping. And I was like, what's going on? And so yeah, they're up on stage and then they just start playing this chill song, like some this chill like jammy music that we hadn't heard, and everyone's kind of looking around like what is going on, and then he gets on the mic and is like, I mean, I have the video up on my YouTube thanks to my buddy Seth who recorded it, and yeah, he was just like, hey, we decided we wanted to like play a little sound check for you guys, like thank you guys for like always showing up and coming in early and like love like representing us, and like he was just in a super loving mood. So then they played that song and we were all vibing to it, and then afterwards he goes, all right, well, we played that because like we're not going to play it tonight and we just wanted to play it, and he's like, but like, do you guys want us to play it tonight? And then like everyone is like, yeah, like what are we gonna say, no? So the whole place is like, yeah, and he's like, all right, then we're playing it tonight. And so yeah,
Partially, I would have been like, "Well, we just heard it. Give me something
that's kind of
else."
what I was thinking in the back of my head, but I was like, I can't
You're
yell
not gonna. You don't want to.
no.
Hey.
Yeah, so yeah, so then he's like, all right, then we're gonna play it. And so yeah, then he played it for the whole show, which was cool. I really like that song. I really like the what's the sample in it? Oh, what is it? I gotta keep on keeping on. I gotta keep on keeping on. That sample is sick. I really like that part of the song. So yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, no, it's good. It's kind of. Do you know the Dead? How they always say, "I need a miracle."
I
It's like someone
Oh,
else
with the
say. There's
tickets?
a song.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a song that's like, "I need a miracle every day."
Okay, I don't know
So
that one.
that's
Yeah.
almost like there's a lot of parallels to the Dead and Pretty Lights for me. But
Yeah, definitely.
that I don't know. That to me is almost like that's our miracle track. But
Yeah.
like you could be outside. I believe in miracles. I need a ticket. Okay, so then they go wake up,
Yep.
and I mean I don't know. Like obviously love this song. Not much to say here to me, just because this was kind of he did these 3 songs to start, and then this is where he's like, all right, guys, we're gonna fucking do this. Kind of that was like, all right, we're gonna start getting into like the New Year's type shit
Yeah,
right here.
yeah.
So
I mean, did a little more breath work was my only comment on that, but yeah. But yeah, Wake Up was pretty standard, but I enjoy it. That's a good song.
yeah, and then so the dance around the clock,
Yeah, Final Countdown.
setting the motherfucking tone.
Yeah, grooviness, very groovy.
Ah, man, it was, I mean, again, like what you said before, set night one, awesome, but this was just so fitting for the night and the occasion. Just like the way that they started off from here, and I was up on the 3rd level at this point. I was by myself. I was just kind of because I don't know if you've seen. I made anytime I go to a show like Vegas and Tahoe, I put like together an edit. I'm still, I've been busy with like putting out the last episode and getting ready for you.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have some time to work on it, but I kind of get different shots and I put some edits and stuff. So I wanted to go up there and get some. And dude, that's where I really realized, like, dude, this place is fucking. I think that's the biggest like place I've seen Pretty Lights in.
Yeah, I think Hampton was.
But,
oh no, Soldier Field. You've seen them in Soldier Field. What are you talking about?
Oh well, for a PL show,
Yeah,
not a festival, But yeah, I mean, I know Hampton's big. It was like 13,000.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Hampton is big. Hampton's like the biggest PL headlining show I've been to.
Yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list for sure.
It was dope. I recommend it.
It was different up there. I'll tell you what, that was Wook Nation.
Oh, was it?
That reminded me of like summer camp shit.
Yeah, people were going off up there.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
almost like people who probably it was like such different like level 1 and 2 were just like such like okay PL fans and stuff like that, and up there just it was like
people doing a bunch of DMT or something.
It's just like dreads and like just, like like in the corridors or like whatever you call it, where you walk out from the into that like just some goofy weird shit going on there. I'm like, oh my god, but
yeah, mole people.
Yeah, exactly. So from there, Celebrate, and this was just amazing.
Yeah.
Dude. Like everyone around the world, come
Yeah,
on, and
perfect
just
for a New
and
Year's
I love
Eve.
how they threw the Fat Boy Slim in there, because they've done that before, but then it was like the Celebrate in there. Oh man, it was just such a fucking masterpiece, dude. It's just like, and that's kind of one of those things where some of these songs they play them and then they bring them back. Like I don't think we'll hear this again. I mean, maybe on a New Year's, but like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
and
don't
that
know.
was like,
We may, but
yeah, they had a lot of samples in that song. It was
yeah.
all over the place. And then that like went into that kind of other new track, I guess, right? With like Goodbye Stranger and stuff like that.
Well, I had it from I mean, I don't know. Sometimes the way that they're breaking these up. I don't
Yeah.
know if they have. But from me, I had Celebrate, and then it was Countdown, and then Big Balls or whatever that was, and it was just kind of like everyone hugging each other type of shit, and the band's kind of just playing some
Yeah,
music
but
and stuff.
there
But
was Goodbye Stranger was in there before the countdown. There was like a Goodbye Stranger, because I just remember, because like I'm an Office nerd, like I love the show The Office, and so like that's the song that's like the Goodbye Toby, Goodbye Toby. So I was like
oh, you're okay, okay,
I was
yeah,
singing those lines. I was singing
yeah,
Goodbye Toby to Goodbye
okay,
Stranger.
yeah.
I was
No, I
laughing my
totally forgot
ass
about
off.
that.
Yeah, and then they like did a bunch of whistle like bass songs. There's like the blow the whistle or whatever sample and stuff.
Oh, the one that they did in the Whistle, actually, Whistle track in St. Augustine, like blow whistle,
Yeah, they
kind
did
of like
they
that.
brought that in for like one or two lines in
Oh, nice.
that swirl.
Right on.
Yeah, there was so much going on. They had like Van Halen's Jump in there, and then yeah,
Oh,
Fat
yeah.
Boy Slim's Praise
Yeah.
You. I think you called that one out. There
Mhm.
was so much flying around in that swirl, and then Derek gets on the mic and goes, uh, maybe it was later. No, yeah, no, it was then. Yeah, he goes, lean into it. It doesn't have to feel familiar.
Oh,
And then he's
because
like,
I think he said the band never even heard that track.
well, yeah, I mean,
I think, is he referring to that?
so I think he just, so he said, yeah, he said, lean into it. It doesn't have to feel familiar. Peel, like, and then he shouted out the PLF request line for like requesting a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
those samples that they had just
Mhm.
played, which was really
Yeah.
cool. But it was just one of those moments where I was like, what is this? I've never heard any of this. Wow, he's really playing something I've never heard before, like right now, right before midnight. And then he literally gets on the mic and goes, lean into it. It doesn't have to feel familiar. And I'm
That's
like, he can
amazing.
hear my thoughts. Like he knows like what's happening. So it's
That's
just
a
one of
trip.
those moments where, Derek has one of those lines that just cuts right through you, and you're like, damn, is this dude a prophet? Like, what is happening right now? Yeah, so that was my favorite like Derek line, I think, of the weekend, was just lean into it. It doesn't have to feel familiar. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I love that shit. Oh. Yeah. All right. So then from there, like I said, the countdown, that big balls thing, and that was when I was up top, run down, hug all my friends.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the countdown and just the theming of this, right? Like earlier in the show, he mentioned how they'd been on the launch pad for 2 years and all of that, and then obviously the countdown launched the spacious, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
into the
Mhm.
into
Tongue
space.
twister.
Yeah, and so it was kind of like the culmination of the last 2 years, into whatever is next. It was very like the metaphors, the symbolism, whatever you want to call it. Like I really vibed with that,
Oh, yeah.
and of course Greg did great. Like made it look like a ship blasting off, and like with the
Yeah.
lights and the
Oh,
sounds, and they had like jet engine and rocket ship noises going. Like they did a really cool job with that, I think.
yeah. I mean, obviously they always do a good job, but this one just really felt extra. And I mean, this is only my second New Year's show I've ever seen by Pretty Lights, but
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just like going back to the closing with the um, World is a Cinema and or Phil Collins and Etta James say. I just feel like there was a little extra just like pizzazz and
Yeah, it was
showmanship,
well
I
thought
guess.
out, well planned,
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
executed. I mean, he's missed midnight before, so you know. Oh
Really?
yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Where?
Oh, which one was it? I can't remember. It wasn't
Like how
Sea of Dreams.
long?
It was like 8. He was like 6 or 7 minutes off or something like
Sea
that.
Dreams?
I don't think it was Sea of Dreams, but
Oh,
it
okay.
was like it was in that era. It might have been
Wow.
Vegas or it might have been New Orleans. I can't remember, but there was one where he definitely missed New Year's by like 6 or 7 minutes. Like we were all
Oh,
looking at
wow.
our phones, like it's
Happy New
after
Year?
midnight. Like what are we doing? And then like he was like a 5, 4. Like, all
Oh,
right,
no
yeah,
shit. Oh,
yeah.
man. Well,
So he's yeah. So they were on point for this one. And then the balls came out, and
mhm.
I'm still seeing balls in my sleep because of that. It got intense on the floor for a little while.
Yeah, I was up high, and in theory it was like nice, but I almost feel like it would have been nice to see him coming on me instead of being above. I
Well,
don't know.
so like where we were on the rail, you know how the balloons didn't get to us. The balloons that came down from the
Gotcha.
ceiling, they just didn't make it
Yeah.
that far into the crowd. So we got no balloons. Obviously, we got the confetti that everybody got. But then those big balls, they brought them all out at the rail and then tossed them into the crowd. And it was cool. Like when I was looking, I was like, look at all these cool balls bounce around. This is really cool.
Mhm.
Then people started hitting the balls because they're coming at
Oh.
them, and those balls had like an elasticity to them. So like if you went and like punched it like that, it went up. And so as far as
Mhm.
it went up, it came down just as hard. So like I'm the tallest guy in my vicinity, so I got domed multiple times, like heavy hits to the head. And that's when I was like, oh shit, like I gotta pay attention. So I turned around, was facing the crowd, and I was just batting balls as they were coming at me and at my crew, because they hurt. I mean, like it wasn't, I didn't get a concussion or like anything like that, but I mean,
Sure.
like it felt like getting hit by a kickball in gym class. You know what I mean? Like it could wake you up. So I loved it. I thought it was super cool. If we could just get like slightly lighter balls next year, like
Wow.
I'd be all for it.
That's a trip.
Yeah, I've seen some great memes from it already. Like people talking about like, seeing flashbacks and PTSD from the balls and
Yeah.
stuff. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, because I don't know if the right term is poignant or whatever, but I would think that they'd like kind of sit in the air, but like you're saying,
Yeah,
they go.
they had a little weight to them. They were more akin to like, not like those balls you use in working out, because those are definitely heavier, but they were, you know, there was more to them. Yeah.
Then the nothing's gonna stop us after midnight. Sheesh. I mean, after midnight, dude.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, it's just, and then like we said the night before, after we were a little confused on after midnight, and then getting it in this
Yeah.
fashion was just
Perfect.
awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, like it was like a switch flipped, and it went
Mm-hmm.
from super positive vibes, super vibey, super like let's go get next year, to let's fucking party. And that was like when that flip switched right at that after midnight. And then like they
Mm-hmm.
sampled like Around the World from Daft Punk.
Yeah.
Um and then another stream first, I believe, can be corrected in the comments or whatever, but I believe that was the first time. So what they were doing, they had slow motion replays in the stream. So during the song, during that after midnight dance party, which was like 5 minutes after midnight or whatever it was, 10 minutes after midnight, they were showing slow motion replays of the band while they were all like, drinking champagne and celebrating midnight.
Cool.
So that was like,
Yeah.
so they were they were recording stuff live, then clipping it, and then re-bringing it back into the stream a few minutes later, which
Oh,
was,
that's
I don't think
awesome.
they've done that before. So that was just another cool way for them to bring in some cool slow mo shots. Yeah, it was really sweet.
Yeah. No, that's sweet. And that's a part of, as we said, you always want to be at the show, but watching the stream, you do catch some more stuff like that. And I mean, as much as I watch it back, I feel like even when I'm doing this, I'm obviously focused on the computer and like all
Yeah,
different things. But like, even if I were to like put it on, I'm not as like hyper focused on it as I would be as if it were like live in the moment. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, totally.
so it is kind of cool that you catch you'd be more like likely to catch some of that stuff. Because I mean, you know, let's all be real. At a show, you're not necessarily like, you know, you're not in the movie theater where you're like sitting. You know,
Right.
you're
Well,
everywhere.
there's a
Right?
lot
You're
to
looking
take
out.
in. Yeah, at the show.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And meanwhile, you're surrounded by, you know, friends and fucking, you know, your wives, girlfriends, you know, whatever, all that shit. But either way, awesome. You know, again, they threw that Going to Chicago sample in there. Great. And then they do a Speaking of Happiness tease, which, I mean, I love that song, but I mean, I don't really, you know, I'm not upset about it. I mean, but you
I
know,
think a
it would
tease
be,
was the right thing for it in that moment.
yeah. If it went into it, it kind of would have been weird at that time, I
Agreed.
think. But yeah. But and then it goes to the Pink Pony Club thing, and like, I'll just say, I'll admit, I didn't really like this one too much.
Mm.
But like, not like, no, I'm sorry, I
I
mean
was
like
like,
the
you're gonna
song.
catch some flack.
No. I'm sorry. Rephrase. I didn't really like Pink Pony Club, like Chapel Run,
Yes,
that much.
yes, yes.
So like, and just again, this just speaks to the power of Pretty Lights, like what they do, because you know, which is weird or not weird, but like I don't really pay attention to like pop culture stuff. So like, I didn't know who she was like a month ago,
Gotcha.
honestly, and like, I mean, it was funny. I was talking to Ethan about this, but someone at work brought it up and they're like, Chaperone. I'm like, who's that? And like, do you live under a fucking rock? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you
Like,
do.
so I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Because
Whatever,
I'm
man.
not
Like,
into pop music, but I know who she is.
yeah. I mean, I hear songs like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
then I
yeah,
hear her shit. I'm like, oh, okay, I've heard
yeah,
that before,
yeah,
but I don't like know like, okay, this is this and whatever.
yeah,
Not necessarily for me. Got nothing against it. Like, great, whatever. But like now, I've actually come to really kind of like the song. I don't know. She's a really good singer.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I agree. Like she was not like she was. I saw how much she blew up. Right. Like I watched the news. Like my sister-in-law wanted to get like free tickets to her show, and like when we tried to help her get
yeah,
those, obviously that didn't happen. But like, so like I knew she was hot, but I never listened to her stuff.
yeah.
But then when they played Pink Pony Club in St. Augustine, I was like, this is the shit. And
Yeah.
I think since they've played that, that might be the one song I've listened to the most of Pretty Lights since St. Augustine, which you know is tough for me to admit, right? Like, I mean, I'm not a
Yeah.
Chapel Roan fan, but that song is a banger. And I mean, I'm not going and listening to her version of it. I'm listening to the Pretty Lights version of it, obviously.
Right.
But I agree. Like, yeah, that song's a banger. I
Yeah.
loved it. I'm so glad they brought it back. I wanted more of it ever
Yeah.
since they played it the first time. Um, I'm all about the Pink Pony Club. And the other part of the song that they mix it with, that, like, that's how the good Lord works. That's how the
Hmm.
good Lord works. Like, that sample is so good. Like, oh, Pretty Lights, we don't deserve you. Like, what are we
I
doing?
know. And yeah, again, it just like speaks to like Pretty Lights has gotten me into like, so it's changed my view on so many things, and it's like it got me into like liking jam because of Analog Future Era and stuff like that. But I just want to say shout out to Joel Schultz. He was talking to me. He's a Chicagoland guy too, but he was saying, yeah, I'm so happy they played it. That was my request, and I thought he was like joking. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, my daughters love that song. It's great. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But then, you know, again, that's like before, and I was just like, I didn't realize. I thought it was like maybe they're kind of fucking around, because like Ethan was even saying it seemed like they were like kind of trolling a lot in Augustine, like they did the Flow Rider thing and that, and then the
Mm-hmm,
Freebird.
mm-hmm.
But then now, and especially when I hear it live, I was like, oh damn, that shit's fucking dope.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah,
I think what's so cool about this iteration of the band and what they're doing right now is it really is like an evolution of like Derek's process, right? Like his whole process has been sampling dope ass shit, finding stuff that works really well together, and making it into this new cohesive thing that's completely different than the individual parts. And now he's doing that live with like the band is like a swirling jukebox where they
mm-hmm.
can
Oh,
like
it's a great way. That's a great
they
term.
can play like anything at any time, any genre, and they'll find a way to incorporate it into that Pretty Light sound. And he has such an ear for, oh, this like, because what really makes Pink Pony Club so good is that like baseline synth that's just so catchy for it. And so
Mm-hmm.
like it, you know, to bring that in, and then just focus on that one vocal part, one part of the verse. And yeah, I mean, like he's such a mastermind. It's crazy. And then obviously the band members are contributing to this process as well. It's not all Derek, but there's just this, it's he went from sampling, going and finding sounds on vinyls to make his music, to literally he'll take any sample from any song and make it work.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so cool.
Hey, and to speak to it, we're just having fun.
Yeah.
It's where we belong.
Yeah.
Like,
Do what you like.
That's why, yeah. And like to tie back to like, the Chaperone stuff, like what she's singing about is just how she is and how she feels.
Yeah.
And then it's just, it was a nice spin to put on Pretty Lights, because it fits. And, it's like, it's not, sometimes people get tied up in like the literal things.
Yeah.
And it's not always meant to be literal, and it's open to interpretation.
Yeah. No, I think there was someone had a sign at Boston or St. Augustine that just said,
"Oh, it's
play whatever the fuck you want," and they cut to it in the middle of like one of those swirls, and I was like, that's it. I mean, it goes back to his line earlier, lean into it. It doesn't have to feel familiar.
I know. And as this like request line has gotten more popular and stuff, it's with the request line getting so popular, obviously I'm always going to put something in, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't get played, there's going to be, thankfully, all these, they're doing what they do, and other people put stuff in. I know it's always going to be good.
I mean, I put in tons of requests. I mean, the only one I got this tour technically was they played, I requested Not Like Us, by Kendrick, and they played that. But I mean, that was so hot this year that they were probably going to play that if no one requested it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, at the end of the day, he's not necessarily going to be able to play everybody's requests. But man, what I've been trying for, I'm a big Gorgon City fan. I don't know if you listen to Gorgon City at all, but I'm a big Gorgon City fan. And so I'm really trying to get him to play some Gorgon City during one of like the house breakdowns, but we'll see what happens. Shout out Gorgon City. Go listen to it if you haven't.
Check them out. Yeah.
It's dance music. It's EDM, but it's good.
I mean, I like a little bit of everything, dude. I mean, I like,
dude, their live sets are just money. Just money.
All right. Right on.
Yeah.
Gorgon
City. Yeah, they're from London.
I love to know where people are from. I'm glad you told me that. I always ask, where's this group from? Or,
they're two guys from London. One lives in Chicago now, though. But cool. Yeah. Some Brits. Yeah, good stuff. And then, I mean, right after Pink Pony Club, reverse skydiving. Holy shit. Yeah. That was so good. I'd never heard that song before. And I've been listening. That's what I've been listening to the most since New Year's, probably.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the song I'm going to have to use for my edit.
Okay.
Because, I mean, and I don't know, is it, I'm going to maybe do that, and then as it goes into Homecoming, because for me that was the Homecoming, and and that was the Chami shit.
Yeah, Move Your Body. Yeah.
So
Coldplay and Kanye.
Coming Home Again. I love that fucking vocal. I mean, that from that album was Kanye. I mean, honestly, probably my favorite Kanye album, just because College Dropout was a little before my time. I think that album was called Homecoming, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm not a Kanye expert, but yeah.
Me neither. I mean, I honestly, like, I don't. I think that's the only album I legitimately listened to.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I mean, I listened to College Dropout. It was solid back in the day. I mean, Kanye is a great artist, crazy dude, great artist.
Yeah, crazy dude.
Yeah, they oscilloscope for a second.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
for a second, and then he hops off. Actually, it's happening like right now behind you, I think. But yeah.
Dude, sometimes, oh my god, it flies up perfectly, dude. I had Ethan we were talking about Freebird, and then Derek's like singing to Ethan at the same.
Yeah. So yeah, crazy. I think we caught up to
it. Well, that just shows how long we've been talking.
That's true.
Which this has been seamless. So thank you, dude.
Yeah,
this has been awesome. Yeah. And honestly, like the way it's gone, I don't think I have much to clip. So it's been
yeah. So I'll take credit for having the longest episode so far.
Hell yeah, dude.
But yeah,
thanks again, dude. Yeah, I genuinely appreciate it, man. So,
but yeah, and to give your love away, the whole rail was freaking out like that. Like everyone's jaws were literally on the floor for that. There's some great, like, if you pause the stream it, like, and when they're looking at the crowd and stuff right after it starts, like everyone was freaking, like, that was great. That was one of my favorite, like, drops of an old track in a while. Everyone was freaking out.
I mean, dude, to me, like, I think all my favorite songs are unreleased, and I think it's just because of like the power of like I don't know. I not only like deep cut guy, but I just like love like you know, for instance, Days Gone was like a
Mm,
recap of the Rosen Ballroom. Give Your Love Away was a recap of Red Rocks
mm,
13. You know, Dionysus was a recap of
mm-hmm,
14, and
mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
just and then Digital as Fuck, that wasn't a recap, but like so this year I've requesting and chasing. I got Days Gone to Tahoe, lost my mind. I get and then fucking Digital as Fuck, you know, in when I got played in Minnesota, I was like, that's fucking dope. And then this was just, I mean, to come home and then like come back from an encore and hit that, I mean, dude, that's where I started to really feel some emotions, man. And you know, beyond I don't know if you have anything else to touch on but I'm also glad that they like spent some time on it, because sometimes like Days Gone, they just played,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm okay. I don't care. I'm happy I heard it in general, but like they really, I think it was about 7 or 8 minutes on this. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I
so
liked the Red Hot Chili Peppers "Give It Away" sample in there
yeah,
too.
that was
That was
great.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so then they go into Open Your Eyes, just, you know, and like just obviously a great way to end it off. I mean,
yeah.
super dope. But yeah, I'll just touch on this, man. I've never gotten emotional at a Pretty Light show, and I mean, it just. I think I might have like teared up a bit in San Francisco because it was like my first time back, and like I got into the Dead after when Pretty Lights broke off, and seeing him in San Francisco and hearing all that. I think I just was like, I wasn't legitimately like, but I've like legit was like, you know, it's hit me. So like, one thing I'll tell you, dude, is like I'm not gonna see any shows for a minute. It's because I'm having a kid.
Well,
So
congrats.
thank you, dude. Yeah. So this was kind of just bittersweet. I wasn't supposed to go. I had friends like who were so nice enough that they wanted me there so bad, not only just to have me there, but because of the podcast. They paid for my ticket, they paid for my flight. I mean, I wouldn't be there. So it's just I know, you know, I'm like the show's ending and it's been so special and they just played that. Like I'm just, you know, I'm with all these people I haven't seen in a minute, and like, you know, I'm it's my last show, but I'm gonna be a dad, and like, you know, I'm there with everyone, but I'm not like with my wife, unfortunately. So it's just like I'm feeling all these different emotions, and yeah, it just kind of hit me, dude. And then they roll the credits, and yeah, it was just I'm just really happy I made it. I mean, you know, honestly one of the proudest moments of my life, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. I mean, fuck yeah, you put your neck out there and you create something from
Yeah,
scratch and it gets recognition. Like,
yeah,
that's it, man. That's all you
yeah,
need.
yeah. And then I talked to Greg after, and I mean, I know. So like, Ethan was like, he told the story about how he met, how he kind of became homies with Derek and them and shit, and he was like, he wanted it to get approved or whatever. So I had to like send him a video of that snippet of the pod. And he's like, I'm like, well, how long is this going to be? If you don't, if it's going to be a minute, I'll just not add it in. It's fine. I don't like need it to be in there. And he's like, I'll talk to Greg. He'll be quicker. So like 10 minutes later, I get like a request from Greg to like view this shared file. And then like 10 minutes later, Ethan gives me the thumbs up. You're good. So like, I knew Greg knew about it, at least in that regard.
Yeah.
So like, I go up to him, hey, dude, I'm the one who's doing that podcast. Like with Ethan, he's like, oh yeah, the podcast. I know all about it. He's like, he gave me some encouragement and stuff. So like all those things happening was cool. But like, and after that, like when I saw my friends who got me there, it's just like, I kind of like broke down on them. And again, I've never like, I've heard people say, oh, I was weeping at Pretty Lights. And I kind of rolled my eyes. Yeah, sure. But like, you know, I mean, you know, everyone has their own feelings. And yeah, this was like a true testament to that. And I even came, excuse me, we're gonna release, like, me and Sip actually did an episode, like we did like an hour after night one talking, and then I came home, and the day after I got home, I like did one by myself, just to kind of let all this out, because I was like, I knew I was gonna have you on. I'm like, I don't want. I said I was gonna touch on it like I am, but I really like dove into all the emotions I was kind of feeling about like how this project's progressed, and like putting myself out there, and like other things going on in my life, and I don't know. So I kind of like, yeah, man. I mean, I get emotional on it, but it's real shit.
Yeah,
So,
dude, it is real
um,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so sorry to,
No,
you know, back.
I've had I've had very emotional moments at shows. I've had spiritual moments at shows. Like,
Yeah,
there's some real, healing power to the music, to the art that these guys are putting out there, and
yeah,
there's a realness to it. So sometimes that slaps you in the face.
yeah. And I mean, this is the most in control I've been at a show. I wasn't drinking. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I
I
was
really,
California sober both nights, and it was a blast.
yeah, it's great. And I mean, I was smoking weed, obviously. A lot of us may do. You kind of think you're there to party hard and stuff, but when it's nice that the focus was the music and the connection to people. And one thing I did say on this, like when I was doing it by myself, I'm like, Derek says the opposite of
Addiction is
addiction's
connection.
connection,
Yeah.
and not like so. I just felt, I don't know, I just felt really connected. And I feel like I just feel this project is really, it's been, it's not only like something I'm super fucking passionate about, but it's like it's just I feel really good, dude. It's like it's putting me in a really good place. And excuse me, I just love that I'm meeting more people, and the list goes on, and I keep making. I don't know. It's just it's just a trip. Like everything that happened, I just never would have thought, and it just hit me, and I'm like, man, like if you really fucking want to do something, do it, and if you really care and you work hard at shit, like, and and put out like good positivities, like positive stuff, like it's only inevitable you're gonna get some type of shit back, and I don't know. And then like Derek's girl, Uma or Megan.
Yep.
I don't know. I was just like talking about how I sometimes say and yeah and a lot on my story, and she like responded, like kind of give me some advice, and then I just kind of thanked her and the team for everything. And
That's dope that she reached out.
yeah, and then she's like, yeah, I put you on the credits, happy new year. And
Oh,
I was like, I'm like, dude, thank you so much.
yeah,
I'm like,
she's
you got no
awesome.
idea.
Yeah, she's dope. I met her for the
Yeah,
first time Vegas New Year's, but she's dope.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, she seems amazing, dude. So yeah, just and this is the energy I needed to look into the new year. And I've already been on it, but I got a fresh fucking juice of motivation. And this is going into parenthood and being like, I'm gonna be bunkered down this next like year or so.
When's the
But
due
I
date?
think July 24th.
Ooh, summer baby. Okay.
Mhm.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, so like my plan was to kind of do some like a remote thing, and like before I was gonna go out there, and like me and Chris were gonna do some like podcasting stuff, like maybe set break stuff and that. But that's kind of be my plan. And honestly, um like I would love for people to like hit me up after the show, like and just kind of give you a real time reaction and stuff. Like if you were to go back after and just like hit me up, even if it's for like
Yeah.
15-20 minutes,
Yeah.
not necessarily dive in like this, but
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Like, yeah.
off the top, quick
Top.
things,
Yeah.
real
Like
quick.
big. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Big takeaways.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, okay, I gotta ask, where does that rank for you, if you even rank?
I mean, ranking, yeah, what is the comparison is the thief of joy? Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. I think like everything has yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd really do top fives or whatever anymore. I mean, I still say
Yeah.
the pinnacle for me was Red Rocks 2014. I'll die on
Mhm.
that hill. Um, but um, but I really liked this stop. I really liked Chicago. They did great stuff. I still think night one was better than night two for me personally. But it's up there. It's good stuff. It's tough, man. It's just so tough.
Yeah.
It's so tough.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's for me. I just gotta just given all things considered, um, it's like I went from Red Rocks. So like I said, I went to those 4 stops, and at Red Rocks, I was just talking about this idea, and to go from Red Rocks to Tahoe to Vegas to this,
Mm.
it's I mean, this tour alone, I think it has to it'll just always go down as one of my favorites, just given everything that happened, yeah, man.
Yeah, I think
But
the Check Your Vector tour was amazing from
yeah,
beginning to
amazing.
end. The band was on one. Like I said, like the way that they're playing right now, this is my favorite iteration of Pretty Lights as a concept,
Hmm.
because
By far.
of the diversity that they can incorporate, the ways they can go, the way they can surprise you. It is another experience. Now that being said, like the Telluride Analog Future Band was amazing. Was
That's definitely one
amazing.
of my
It was
favorites.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my second favorite iteration of the band for sure. But yeah, I like right now these guys are just on one.
Mhm.
Michael being back with Derek is just the way it
Yeah.
should be. Um,
Mhm.
Carnes is a mastermind. Borum is a vibe. Alvin is just powerful. Like, they all just complement each other so well. And I cannot wait for more. But I do think 2025 will be a little less Pretty Lights filled than 2024 was for me
For
personally.
you or for tour
For me
stops?
personally, I have no idea what the band's gonna do. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. For
Yeah,
me
because
personally, I mean, I know they're doing Buena Vista, but I might have to miss that for family obligations. So,
yeah.
um, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I went pretty crazy this year. I went to every stop but Vegas.
You
Um,
even went to ACL both
no,
weekends?
no, not festivals. Sorry, I went to Forest, but I didn't do Rue. I didn't do ACL.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
do Vegas, but I did everything else, and it
Gotcha.
was a lot, and it was a lot of fun. But I think I'll probably do a little bit less. Oh, there I am in the screen behind you. That's funny.
No, you're
I
perfect.
just went by. But yeah, and so I think I'm gonna take it a little easier this
Yeah,
2025 year. I mean,
right
also
on.
got to save a little bit more money than I did last year. Traveling is not cheap. Not in this economy, and in this
Fuck
economy
no.
ain't getting any
Tough.
better.
It's tough. Yeah, it's rough. Well, yeah, I mean, that being said, we'll have to do this again for sure. I mean, I had some after okay, real quick,
Yeah,
I'll sum this up because we're kind of getting
yeah.
there. Looking at 2025, who would you like to see
Mm.
be some guest appearances on stage?
I mean, I'm partial to horns, so I missed Vegas horns. I would love for them to bring horns
Yeah,
back.
that was sick.
Yeah, horns would love more horns, and it can be Benny and what's the trombone player's name? I forget.
Scott Flynn.
Scott. Yeah, thank you. They're both great, so it could be them. They can come back. I'm all for it. I mean,
All right, well,
other
how about off outside of the pretty lights, like
yeah, outside of their world.
yours?
Hmm, who would fit well?
I got three.
Um, I mean, I would love for a rapper to be brought back, like kind of when they had Charlie Tuna and they did bring out what's his face at one time, but that didn't go well. But like I wouldn't mind like a rapper, Talib, that whole mess with Talib not coming out or whatever. I would love like a rap artist to be incorporated in some way. That would be cool.
Yeah,
Or like live vocals from like an artist would be cool.
that would be really
But
dope.
I don't
Yeah.
really have like an artist in mind. Who do you got? I'm
Okay.
curious.
So I got and they're all very different.
Mm,
All right. So I got Grizz.
yeah, makes sense.
Everyone thought Grizz was gonna come out
Yeah,
after Dom,
right,
and I even thought that I'm like, wait, that's stupid. Why would they do two saxophone back to
right.
back? But okay, so that just because Grizz is kind of still not doing
Yeah, and he's
shit.
PL adjacent, so it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Even has remakes and stuff. Okay, and then Alana from Sound Tribe, or Jesus from Lettuce. Like I'd like a bass player to.
Mm,
I mean, I love when Derek does bass. He just doesn't do as much. I would really like a bass player to come
mm.
up there and just fuck it
Yeah,
up.
that'd be cool.
And then Billy Strings. I don't know. I
That
think
was
that'd be really cool.
I thought that was gonna be one of yours. Yeah, I mean he's hot right now. That'd be
Yeah.
cool. I don't know. Their sounds are a little different, but clearly Derek can make any sound work. So
I mean, yeah, and I mean, I think Billy Strings would. I think he'd appreciate Pretty Nice music, and I think they could find something
yeah,
to
be a cool one. John
to
Mayer.
coexist. I
That
love
would
John
be
Mayer.
cool.
I was I was actually thinking about that too,
Yeah.
but I think that's maybe a little far fetched. But I
No,
mean,
yeah,
dude,
it's not
John
gonna
Mayer's
happen. He's not gonna waste his
yeah,
time, but it would be
but
cool.
John Mayer's great. And any haters out there, John Mayer's fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
dude,
And you know
shreds.
what? I know.
Just
And
go
like
watch that
all these
Chappelle Show episode with him on it. How can you not like him? He's fucking hilarious.
I mean, he kind of, in terms of being a guitar player, he kind of reminds me of Derek because he has all these different eras. Like he had this big bluesy era, and he did like John
Yeah,
Mayer Trio,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then he does this Grateful Dead stuff, and he's going. He doesn't have to do that stuff. If he wanted to, he could just do his fucking tours and make all his money. But he cares about the music, so yeah, I don't know. I'm a big John Mayer fan, but yeah. All right, since the season just ended, I know we talked about this when we were texting. Would you trade a Super Bowl win and not see Pretty Lights a whole year?
Yeah, I mean, I would take one for the team, for the city of Chicago. I would do it. I mean, here's the thing. I turned 30 whatever it is, 38 or no, 37 in like 2 or like 3 weeks. So, you know, I've lived my whole life and I haven't seen the Bears do shit. I mean, we made the Super Bowl once, but got destroyed by Peyton Manning. So yeah, I mean, I would make that trade, and it's twofold, right? It's one that it's once in a lifetime. It's my favorite sports team. Blah 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 blah. Which everyone feel bad for me right now because I'm a Bears fan. And then two is I'd save a lot of money not going on tour. So it'd be like, okay, you know, at least I saved a lot of money, and the Bears won the Super Bowl. Like, it would be worth it, and I'd watch all the streams, and but it would be tough.
Yeah. I just like, to me, it's like, oh, well, pretty much doesn't really let me down, and the Bears do.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why? But at the
But if
same
it was
time, obviously,
guaranteed, I'm saying if it's a
yeah, no, yeah. If
guaranteed,
it's
I'm
guaranteed, you
not doing
got to
it for
do
a
it. I
chance.
mean,
I'm doing it for like
yeah,
a guaranteed we win the Super Bowl.
yeah. No, I would do it for sure. I'd take one for the team for sure. Because I mean, yeah, it sucks because I mean we've seen every Chicago team win in our lifetime,
Yeah.
but them. And like you said, I'm the same way with you. And to be honest, that's really the only sport I really pay attention to that much. Because I mean, just it's hard with football's just easy. It's one game a
Yep.
week, and it's just whatever. But
Yeah. It's the
yeah, I
perfect
mean
spectator
it's
sport.
yeah
Well, not
for
perfect,
sure.
but it's a good one.
Yeah, I mean I get what you're going at. So all right, and then just aside, well, I'm just kind of being cheesy here. Aside from riding the rails on 2025 tour, do you have any other big plans in the upcoming year?
Not really. Yeah, nothing crazy, working and spending time with family is all I got planned. I have a lot of hobbies, so it's tough to manage. I race my car. I have a Miata that I race. I have
No, wow.
um I golf. There's like a lot of hobbies that I have, so it's just
Yeah.
hobbies, keeping the wife happy. Uh, but yeah, no crazy big plans for 2025. So I'm kind of happy
Well,
about that.
yeah. Well, pencil it in on your calendar. Come back to Trip to Time.
All right.
All right.
All right, I'm down. Yeah, for sure, man. I really
Right
appreciate
on.
the conversation. This was awesome. Thanks for having me on,
No,
man.
dude. Yeah. No, it's a pleasure. I mean, obviously, I could only I like when I was looking ahead at New Year's, I'm like, oh, Hammy T would be perfect. So thank you again for being willing to do this. And yeah, I mean, I think each one keeps getting better and better. And this one I feel like really just was smooth. And yeah, it's fun to nerd out, man. And it was definitely a pleasure getting to know you, dude. And I look forward to seeing you in the future and doing this again. So yeah, dude. Much respect to all you that you do.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
you know.
Look at that. The credits are
Oh,
literally rolling.
oh
It
my
was
God.
meant to
Yeah,
be.
dude.
Yeah, I didn't make
Wow.
the cut to be formally on the list, but I'm kind of okay with that because, like I said, I like being.
You like being
Yeah, I don't.
behind the
Yeah,
scenes or
I mean,
mysterious.
yeah, I don't need to be officially recognized by the band or anything like that.
Sure.
I like being my own kind of like
Yeah.
side thing that just is happening.
Yeah.
But they called out all the set listers and all the community content
Yeah.
creators, and
Yeah.
I'll group myself in that group of people.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, the love, like I can't say this enough. The love that I've gotten from people for this YouTube channel is fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
so many people have been so appreciative, and I love everyone for that. You guys have gotten me through the difficult times of the year. Not that I had like a bad year or anything, but just there's always ups and
Yeah,
downs, and
for
people
sure.
just, the comments on the YouTube channel are hilarious, man. Like, I
Yeah.
love that. After night one, after I posted night one, the like at 5 a.m., some guy posts, "I should have gone into debt, to go see the show." Like, that was
I
the
think I
comment.
saw
Yeah,
that.
and then that one got
Yeah.
so many likes because everyone just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did such a good job. So I mean, shout out to the fam and everyone that's given me so much love and appreciation for uploading some videos to YouTube, and I'll keep doing what I can for the family, and appreciate the support I got from Vistafer on Pretty Nights, and thank you for having me on and supporting the channel in this way. And
Yeah.
yeah, we'll Yeah, there you go, right
There we
there.
are, baby.
It's all
Although we
full
changed the
circle.
spelling, but it's all good.
It's all full circle, baby.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, and so yeah, really really dope what you're doing here, and really wish you success and everything you're doing with the podcast, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, dude. Yeah, no, it's been a big learning process, but I'm having fun, and I'm just I don't know. I just keep wanting to do it, and it's very fulfilling and motivating. But yeah, thank you again, man. Honestly, all that you do and all that you brought. I mean, this was seamless and easy. You know, it's weird how having this shared fandom of stuff, you can just go on and on and on.
Oh yeah,
So,
I could talk for days about it.
yeah, and I'm sure there's some stories. I think I even forgot to ask like some crazy stories along the way. But either way, you'll definitely be.
I'll save some for the
Awesome.
next time we chat, because
Yeah.
there's more. I've
Yeah.
got some crazy stories, but we got some good ones. We
Hell,
covered
dude.
some good ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Chapter 1.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
all right, well,
All right, man.
again, man. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. This will conclude this episode of Trip Through Time. As time goes by, memories never die, and sure as shit we'll never fucking forget this shit. So thank you, everybody. It was a wonderful fucking tour. Got tons of plans for the off season, and looking forward to everything that Pretty Lights is going to bring us in 2025. So again, thank you to Hammy T, and thank you to everybody out there that's supporting, but also putting back into the community. It's just it's great to be a part of it. So thank you, everybody, and thanks again, Tom.
Yeah, of course, man.
It's an